Titus gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California has won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold.
Everybody doing here on this Thursday, where unfortunately we have more snow cover. Yay. Hey, there's the BDST shirt live and in person. If you want one, hit me up. We got like, I don't know, inch and a half. They have to go out and do some scraping and shoveling here. Hit us up in the McClellan chat room. Good morning, Stephen. And on the professional door text line, 540-391-0788. Hit us up either way. We'd love to hear from you. Late night last night, got back from the Radford-Winthrop game. We had a nice crowd and another tough, close result for the Highlanders as they fall 80-78, all by 2 to Winthrop. They've now played Winthrop twice, and they've lost by a total of 3 points. They had a put back with about 2 seconds, and then we never got a shot off at the end. So now we'll pack up on Saturday and head down to High Point, the other team that's tied for first, and take on the Panthers. So it's going to be a challenging week. But those games, schedule makers didn't do Radford any favors. Second time they've played Winthrop and High Point in the same week. I don't know anybody else is doing that. But that's what February brings. So we'll see how they handle themselves. Yeah, I was surprised. It was interesting. We were finishing up the broadcast last night, I don't know, about 9:40. And people were saying it's snowing. And I'm like, oh, really? So I went out, and it wasn't too bad in Radford. And as I got close to Reiner, it started getting very heavy. And got in, ate a little something, finally was able to lay down, had a bad headache. Still kind of have a headache. And it looked like it was starting to stop. And I thought, okay, well, then I wake up today, and then boom, Jeep's covered, driveway's covered, sidewalks are covered. So I don't know. We must have gotten some more last night. So can't wait for the 50s next week. And that'll be fun. Massive melting in the middle of the month. And that'll be great. That'll be great. Enough already. We're done. We are done. David Smith joins us coming up at 6:30. We'll talk some National Football League. Super Bowl was on Sunday. Andy Bitter was over at the Virginia Tech football press conference. We'll get his take on everything over there. Louise Baker's going to stop by, and she's going to give away Tech basketball tickets, 7:30. How about that? Thanks, Louise. Louise Baker, Team Long and Foster, and then Dwight Vick at 8 o'clock. So we got that's a banger, man. That's a banger of a Thursday here on the program. From the now chilly waters at Clear Lake to Palm Coast, where commercial fish boats leave everybody to their wake. BDST is live and online. Speaking of Morris, by the way, I promise. Look at this. I mentioned silver has been, I think, doing well in the market. Hell, I don't know. But look, he sent me a silver. This is a solid silver Bigfoot coin. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see our friend right there? Look at that. Yes, sir. Really cool. Thanks, Morris. We have some really cool things that are have been sent to the program. So this is really cool. But I mentioned this yesterday, and I wanted to show it, man. That is a solid piece of silver. It is 1.5 troy ounces. I don't know what that means, but it feels very heavy. Like it's heavy. Look at him. Isn't that cool? So thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. Very, very nice of you. Hey, what is up, Mr. Lester? Good to see you. Shout out to Bigfoot. Absolutely. It's one of those things I'm always going to have interest in. Like, you think maybe it'll just go away. It's always going to be there. The lore, the intrigue, the mythology, the possibility. Look, I'm never going to say that I'm smarter or no more than the maker, right? I mean, they found animals in the 50s and the 60s. They found species in the 80s. I mean, things happen, right? I see what you did there, Morris. Yeah, I really enjoyed the show. A small token. Yeah. You get the feeling that no matter where you are in the world, like if you're trying to get into some club, let's say I'm in Monte Carlo. I'm sorry, sir. Do you have a invitation? Oh, I have an invitation. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Watson. Come on in. Come on in. Right? That's what that is. Then people were whispering with their glasses of champagne. Hey, the American, he had a Bigfoot coin. Ooh, big wig. Don't forget and use it in a slot machine. Yeah, the coin worth whatever I would get out of the slot machine. Yeah. So Louise is going to come by with some trivia, and it's always fun. She just always wants to give back to the community. Like all of our great sponsors that I talk about constantly here on the program. They're all great, and they're all community-oriented, like our studio sponsor, Family Fencing, 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. McClellan Chiropractic, thanks to Mark Hunley. By the way, great news, Mark's mom is home. He made a post on Facebook yesterday. Congratulations, Marco. Very happy. Go get your back straightened out with Mark Hunley. We mention Travis Williams all the time. Professional Door Incorporated, right there across from the community college in Dublin. Residential commercial garage doors. They've been doing it for 38 years. Sponsor of our Tech Sideline. Next week, Tim Miller is going to join us from Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Our presenting sponsor. Some more information coming out as we get through February. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Thanks to Charles Lee, 540-553-2971. Patriots have tightened up our BDST fan question of the week from the attorney Ryan Pry, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Trust and estate planning It is 39-33 in favor of the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of the program, my exclusive banking partner for 35 years. Bob Christ, CRIST11 at Gmail, ReadySetFund.com. You can email Bob and go to Ready Set Fund, read up on how to raise some money quickly in a week or so. Text message program that they have, and it's awesome. It's awesome, and they help a lot of organizations. So reach out to Bob Christ and the Ready Set Fund. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply has been doing it since 1997. You can give James a call at 540-301-8011. And the NRV Super Bowl, speaking of the Super Bowl, 382-5525. Give them a call. Terry Steik, Amanda. They're going to have Super Bowl Sunday at the Super Bowl. Go over there and bowl while you're watching the game, pizza, beverages. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun to me. So you should all go do it. And if you want T-shirts, they are $20. I got to hook up with Rodney and get him a T-shirt. But what's on your mind today? I was absorbed yesterday. By the way, I don't know, how many people watching help, but thanks for contributing to our Rad 48 Power Hour. Yesterday, I was the host of that in our weight room with our student athletes going, and they had a certain goal of weights. Combined, they ended up over 35,000 pounds. Incredible. And we had to have 10 new donors. We had donors say if you got 10 new donors within the hour, that they would pledge an extra $1,000. The Rad 48 program wraps up today at noon. I don't know where the overall totals are, but that was fun. And I just seeing our young people, and they're so appreciative. That was fun. Just went in there to kind of ad-libbed a live broadcast for an hour, and it was good. So thanks to everybody who helped us out. That was great. TLB says you should have Ron Shelburne's mom. She may send cookies. Yeah. Even if I'm not recruiting him, she might send cookies. That was funny, wasn't it? That his mom still had cookies, even though he'd already committed to Radford. That was funny. Yeah, Ron's story's great, aren't they? Yeah, Ron is a great dude. Ron is a great dude. As you know, Morris, you've known him a long time too. He's a terrific guy. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel, by the way. A lot of messages came in yesterday. I did not watch it. People were sending me updates. What were your thoughts if you did watch it? We're going to talk to Andy Bitter about the tech presser. I know there were a lot of things that I got sent some stuff. It's interesting, some posts that were made about it. It seems like tech fans did you hear that? That was the silver coin falling out of the bag. Did you hear how heavy that was? I better get that thing put away. There we go. Boink. That's real silver right there. If it wasn't, it wouldn't have made that sound. Seems like mixed reviews. What'd you think? If you watched it, he pretty much, it was done to control everything is what it was. It was done to remind people that he's in charge. That's basically what it is. And apparently he told local media, hey, we're giving you access today. We're going to let you do your job, but don't always count on it. And next year we might not even have any. Okay. So basically what he's saying is he's going to continue to get out whatever he wants about the program through his national friends. And it's going to be interesting to see how our local people adopt to this new policy. It's strange. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but again, many of you said you don't care as long as he wins. Now, I didn't get that from a lot of people that I heard from on the text line. A lot of people now are starting to be a little concerned about the massive desire to control every little thing. And that's what it does come across as. Brent Pry yesterday facing the media. By the way, they all wore black, so I've been telling you, get ready for the all-black football uniform. It's coming. It's coming. So let me know what you thought. I'll be honest. I'm not going to watch. I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to watch it. I'm just telling you what people have told me. I was too busy yesterday to watch it, and I'm not going to dig it up. So I think there were 4 coaches over there. What'd you think of the new offensive coordinator, special teams coach? Brent Pry, I know, reiterated his love for Tech. But let me know what you thought. Now, again, you're going to be biased if you're all on board. It doesn't matter what he says, right? You're just going to buy whatever he says. And you basically have told me that in chat. You don't care. So, and maybe he's picking up on that. Maybe he's gotten here and he understands that the fan base is just so starved for a winner. He's going to be able to come in and control every aspect of it. But we'll see what Andy thinks and what it's going to mean going forward. I hope there's some concessions there for Tech Sideline. I hope there's some concessions there for Damian and David Teal, because they do have jobs to do, and it does center around covering the program. Morris says the presser was not just coach speak, it was coach bloviating at its peak, blah, 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 blah. I know, according to Chris Coleman, he opened up with like you had 20 minutes to ask questions. You had 20-minute session, right, with Franklin. But he comes out and he talks. I think Chris timed it for 13 minutes. I don't know what all was said, but that only left like 7 minutes. And that's not by accident. He's not just up there losing track of time. He did not want it to be, he did not want it to be, again, something he didn't control. But I got some interesting text messages, and we'll share some counterpoints so we're not all in an echo chamber. Well, I never want this program to be an echo chamber. Nothing worse than an echo chamber where everybody's just, seal clapping like they do at award shows. Differing thoughts, differing opinions. That's what it's supposed to be about in this world. But we have to take everything personally. So let me know your thoughts if you took the time to watch it. I'm guessing you did. It might be the only time you hear from them for quite a while. It sounds like it will be until we get close to the spring when you can actually start workouts and so forth. And, they finally released all the coaches. People were talking about the amount of coaches and so forth. And we were wondering when we would get official word, and that came down yesterday. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Andy says. Yeah, I want to see what he says so nothing's taken out of context, Prometheus. Yeah, I want to see what he says. People that sent stuff to me said they were going to limit access. I hope for Andy's sake he's going to have access. We'll see how confident he is going forward. And see what he thought of the offensive philosophy. That was the main thing yesterday. I didn't really care, what Franklin was going to say because he's going to handle it his own way. But I did want to get some vibes about what the offense is going to look like. We kind of know what the defense is going to look like already, under Pry. That's not going to change too much, I wouldn't think. But, offensively, it's going to be interesting with a guy who's never been a play caller. How similar will it look to what Franklin wanted to do at Vanderbilt and Penn State? So, and what develops out of it? And again, how do the pieces fit together? And that's just what I'm going to do now going into every spring session. I think we all have to adapt. Nobody's really going to know until you start seeing the pieces come together and how it works. And the biggest problem, if you do cut off local access, I don't know how much information we're going to get with the development of the team. I guess That's why the spring game is probably being highlighted as being the reveal. And he talked about a big crowd because I don't know, even in the past, even when Pry was there, you could get updates. He used to come on the radio show during the spring and talk about the progression of the battles at quarterback or the O-line. And it was cool because you could kind of follow guys. And then when you watch the spring game, you could kind of see the culmination of it. This kind of feels like we're going to know very little other than what they release themselves. And then, you'll see it when you go out there for the spring game. People on the text line ask me, I don't know. You guys tell me if you watched it. Did they address, are they going to have open practices for the press? Are they going to, have the, what was it called? When they invited the wives and mothers, the women out for football camps and stuff like that. I thought that was always a great thing. I don't know if they talked about any of those things or not, but just let me know. Let me know. But again, this just comes down to they're going to control all the information. And if you're okay with that, that's your choice. If you're just going to trust, and I think that's where I'm at, if I'm not mistaken, right? You're all just going to basically blindly trust here. Then you're going to be okay with it. And I guess he's probably picked up on that vibe a little bit. He's been here long enough already and probably talked to enough people. The one thing, and y'all tell me if it's right or wrong, the biggest kickback I got on the text line was he said he didn't come here to hire friends, yet he hired his best friend as the defensive coordinator. Was that what was said? I got 7 or 8 text messages about that. Big Al hit me up on that one too. I mean, if he says he didn't hire his friends, well, yeah, he kind of did. But I hope it works out for Brent Pry. I do. Hope it works out for him. Not sure what I want from the program. What do I want from the program? I don't want anything from the program. Me personally, I don't. I'm just thinking about it from a larger perspective. And that's why I'm asking you, the fans, what you want from the program. No? I mean, if you're all okay with it, then you're okay with it. You're the ones that are contributing. You're the ones that are donating. You're the ones that are buying tickets. I'm not. But I hate to see local people shut out that are trying to do their jobs. I mean, these are my friends. These are people that we know do a good job. I don't like the immediate assumption that they can't do their job or you don't trust them to do their job. I don't understand that mindset. Does that not come across as a little bit arrogant to you, Chris? And I'm telling you this, it comes across to me as if, like, for instance, the only reason I came back to do this damn show was because of the community, right? So I come at it from a different angle. I would not have come back just for myself, but just for you. And look at the great time we had. This show works because of what we have from a community standpoint, from an interaction standpoint with all of you. And I value everything you say. I try to take the time to answer you on chat. I try to take the time to answer when you send me private messages. That's why we call it a family. If I were to come in and just do my thing and not care about what you said and want this to be an echo chamber, right, then I think that would take away from what we are. And I just think if you're coming in and you're telling local media you're not going to have access or limited access, it's kind of a message to the community because the community is relying on those guys. You're going to get it honest from people that you know. You see Andy and Damien, and Tech Sideline people. Everybody knows Chris Coleman, Will Stewart. David Teal's done this for 40 years. These are people that you rely on for information. And if your local people are being shut out or limited, doesn't that tell you that the guy making those decisions doesn't necessarily value you as a community as well, because that's where your information comes from. That's just my opinion about it. And if you're as successful as he has been, I don't know why you feel like, I don't know if it's a situation where you're trying to get ahead of things. I don't know. But you should have enough confidence to be able, you should be able to trust people. This just reminds me, I'll tell you what it is, Chris. It just has the same vibe of Justin Fuente and the mindset that he and even Witt took when they got here. Nothing that came before really mattered. It was all about starting all this new stuff. It was about getting the old out of the way. And we all saw how that went. But again, it's a personal decision. You've told me yours. I'm telling you mine. I mean, I'm entrenched in this community because I'm from this community. He's not. He's coming from a different place, and he's coming in, and it's his rules and nobody else's. And for everybody that seems in chat, at least, they're okay. You're okay with it. And that's fine. People on the text line, not so okay. It's interesting. And it's two different vibes. If he starts losing games that they should win, I have a feeling that the vibe in chat's going to change. If they win and you're satisfied with that and you're getting your money's worth, you're not going to care how it's run. But we'll see. I want to get the take from Andy just as bad as you do, because like I said, I did not watch it verbatim. I'm just passing along what people sent me. That's all. Just like what you're telling me, what you saw. And I'm just telling you what, people sent me on the text line. So I don't know. I just think it comes across in a negative light. That's all. And I'm telling you, these local people, you're going to tell me that the bozos at ESPN, who know absolutely very little, if nothing, about anything they talk about, are going to be more qualified to talk about Tech's program when they're from a distance. And by the way, once the VMI game happens, you won't hear anything from the national media about Virginia Tech until they play a bigger game. It'll just completely go away. Whereas the local guys are going to be there. Damian mentioned that yesterday. They're going to be there week in, week out. Week in, week out. Well, we hope joining us week in and week out going forward is that gentleman. He is David Smith, the Radford University. We got Radford Hall of Famers everywhere. We had Ron Shelburne on yesterday. Now we got David Smith. My goodness. Well, along with it, post-player dominance. What's up, brother?
Well, you had Rick yesterday, and you're settling today. I mean, Ron, I should say. You had Ron Shelburne.
Never.
Ron Shelburne. He got some stories, my man, doesn't he? He's got a few stories.
He does. Well, it was great. He told that Winthrop story, and you could almost just picture the whole thing, right? Playing down at the Coliseum, and you could just see him down there hitting that three.
Yeah, I tell you what, Ron, we all know Ron for a long time. And weird story, Rick. I was an assistant coach. The 1 year I did do it, maybe you didn't know this, maybe you don't care, on Coach Davis's staff when I was finishing my master's degree. When we were recruiting Ron. And so I went over to see him a couple times, and the thing I did not love about coaching at all was recruiting. Did not love it. Everything else about it was amazing. I love being on the floor. I love the tactical part of the game. I like the strategy. I love all that stuff. I'm just a nerd anyway. But I went and saw him, and I remember thinking he would be a perfect fit for Coach Davis's system. But his coach at the time, Pat Burns, had such higher aspirations for Ron, and as he should. He was almost dismissive of me even being part of that, or even Radford being part of that. And but it's funny how things have a way of working themselves out, because my recruitment was very similar to Ron's, in that Radford was in the mix, but I wasn't sure it was going to be the one. And then things have a way of working themselves out. And I'll bet you could probably ask about 100 Radford players, former players, and they will all tell you the same thing. Well, we knew about Radford, but we felt we would. And then you got there, and guess what, Rick? couldn't have been a better fit. I mean, we talked about Javonte Green just went in the Hall of Fame 4 months ago or so. The litany of people who come there, they all talk about how it all works itself out. And Ron Shelburne is case number one for that, for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then, Winthrop's there last night and talking to Mark Prosser. That rivalry, and you played in it, feels like to me now, David, it's with Liberty out of the league. Longwood's kind of a new thing. It's not there. I think Winthrop's probably that one big rival for us.
Well, and what it is, Rick, it's the Winthrop and Charleston Southern, which was Baptist when we played, Baptist College, are the two schools that were still around from when the Big South started. And so my senior year, not a David moment, but just the fact, we were starting the Big South Conference, but we didn't have the tournament yet. We were just putting it together. Coastal Carolina was in it, Augusta College. Campbell was in it at that time. But Winthrop was right there with us from the jump. They, along with us, have been in Charleston Southern, the only three teams that started it back in, I guess, 85, that are still part of it. So I think I agree with you, Rick. And Winthrop, I'll tell you, buddies of mine and I talk about it often. You got a great area to recruit. You're in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You're south of Charlotte. You've got the dual state area right there. You can sell that area. Rock Hill's a nice city. You're talking about a place you can get kids, and they always have athletes. Always got good basketball players. I mean, they've always been a problem. You talk about the Greg Marshall years. I mean, not only did they win, Rick, they went to the tournament and won. So they wasn't just representing this little fluky 16. And I remember they were one of the first kind of mid-majors or lower major schools to not get a 16 seed. I remember once or twice, because after they had made some noise, they ended up getting like maybe a 15 or maybe a 14 once upon a time, if my memory serves me correctly. So for me, Winthrop's always the school that when I look at the conference or when I played, I always looked at and said, that's a school that's in our conference that adds something to it. That's a good school. I think I'm with you on the Longwood thing. They're wanting to be that, but to me, when Liberty was in it, when it was us and Liberty, that was the one.
That was the one. That was our Tech UVA vibe right there. That was it.
In fact, Rick, the year after Carleek hits the shot, I was so excited because I'm from that area. So, I'm from New Lynchburg. And so for me, I got family members. My sister works there. So the next year, you remember this, Radford goes to Liberty, I believe it was, and plays. And, we made sure we were there. And we figured, well, what will this be? And they were still playing in the Vine Center then. That place was packed. Probably 8,000 or 9,000 for the game. And I remember it clearly. I was sitting right behind the bench. We fell behind, but then Carleek got on a roll late. Brought them back and had a 3 to send that thing to a tie. Missed it. I think we lost by 5 or 6. And I think that's the last time Liberty wanted anything to do with us. I don't think they'll even play us now. They won't even play us. Liberty won't play us. George Mason, we used to play them a lot. I don't think they'll play us. Richmond won't play us. So I know Darius used to talk about this, trying to get scheduling.
Yeah.
Some of the in-state schools won't mess with us anymore. And so I think VCU is one of the few that won't mind all the time. UVA and Tech, I'd like to see us be on a rotation with them. So
and Mason wants to play us too. So that would be a good. Mason's really good. So
but Rick, we used to play him every year. I know different era. We used to play Mason every year. It's great for our fan base, our alumni base in Northern Virginia. It's humongous. It'd be a great game to get up in DC in the Richmond area. But old Ron Shelburne's my guy, man. He's underrated as a Hall of Famer, but not underrated to me. I played against him a couple leagues later on, and I hated it.
We got some. I tell you what, the quality of people from Radford, former post players, is pretty solid too. Good stuff.
Well, thank you for that. I think that's me.
That's you. All right, so we got this game on Sunday.
That's what I heard.
It's not very glamorous. It's just, it is what it is. Horrible uniform matchup. They both wanted to wear their throwbacks, but the league, of course, wouldn't allow it. So now you're going to get this bland all-white uniform against this mono all-navy blue uniform. It's going to look bad. It's a repeat of Super Bowl 49. What about the game? What have you looked at? I know you've been breaking it down. 2 weeks off. It kind of changes things a little bit. What do you see as an advantage? Who do you like coming into this thing?
Well, Rick, this is a good matchup that no one saw coming. I think both teams were 100 to 1 odds to be there. You're talking about two coaches that are relatively new to the program. Vrabel year 1, I think McDonald's year 2, maybe. And so I don't know that we saw it coming. When you think about Seattle, the first thing you think about is how they're going to navigate out of that NFC West. You're talking about having to deal with the Rams twice and also having to deal with the Niners twice. The Niners had a lot of injuries, but winning that division alone, you find yourself beat up from just having to play through that gauntlet, and Cardinals notwithstanding. But then you start to recognize, even last year, that they were going to be led by their defense. And what a move. I wonder if we paid enough attention to them picking up Sam Darnold last year, right? I mean, that team, they had Geno had a great year last year, a really good year. Probably was a Pro Bowler, which whatever that means these days, right? When you think about Pro Bowler, but to me, Pro Bowl, when I think about that, is if you right off the top get named to the Pro Bowl, then I count you as a Pro Bowler. I don't care what the flag football thing says. I mean, if you are named it, that means you probably were one of the top 3 at your position in the league. Whatever happens, whether you opt out, I don't care about. But the point is his season earned him that label, which meant he played pretty well last year. But they did not find that to be enough. They literally went and got Sam Darnold pretty quick last year. Yeah. And what was even more weird about it is how quickly Minnesota kept saying no. And I know we talked about it, probably not enough. I don't know. Now, if you're Minnesota, you hear Justin Jefferson. You see him this week. He's like very subtle about it, but he's like, yeah, pretty nice to have a quarterback that knows the system.
Would be nice. Yeah.
It kind of works better when you don't have to learn stuff, myself and Addison. So, I mean, past history does not necessarily determine the future. And I think they were just so scarred by Minnesota, that is, what Sam Darnold didn't do. Should have probably paid attention to what he was doing. I mean, 14 wins last year, and we know what the quarterback means. And this year did it again. And so Seattle ends up the 1 seed, gets there, and they're in the championship. And Sam Darnold, they talk about led by their defense. But Rick, quite frankly, against the Rams, it was Sam Darnold's arm that was making plays, because Matthew Stafford, really good. Yeah, because their defense was subject to the Matt Stafford event, and I'll tell you, he who probably win the MVP tonight. I think the NFL honors is tonight. He'll probably should win it, in my opinion. So winning that game tells me that Seattle is probably the most complete of the 2 teams. So when I think about Seattle, I think Kenneth Walker, by the way, what a running back he is. And I think he's a free agent this year. Yeah, he is. And there's just something it's something collegiate about Seattle to me. They seem to have youthful collegiate energy, and I don't say that in a blasphemous way. I just think that they play with a lot of energy. It's funny, if you didn't know that they were being coached by Mike McDonald, you would almost think that they're a lot like the Pete Carroll teams in terms of the energy. They fly around. They have that when they wear that all dark uniform, they just seem to have that buzz about them. And so to me, there's Seattle for you. Okay, how you gonna knock them off the block? And then you come over to New England. Now, Mike Vrabel has come in, and I've heard comments that he's not wanting to be like Bill Belichick at all in terms of how he does it. But the things that Bill Belichick has instilled in him, he seems to always fall into the fact that he had to have learned it from him. Mike Vrabel also spent time at Ohio State. He also, where he played, he coached there a while. Yep. I believe he was with the Cleveland Browns last year as a
I think so.
Special coach?
Yeah, analyst or something. Yeah, he did something with them.
With the Cleveland Browns. Do you ever think of Mike Vrabel coaching this year and think about the Cleveland Browns?
No, you don't. You don't.
Not at all. Not at all. And of course, you see what they've done recently. They've gone out and hired a coach who can't even get through the press conference without alienating the best part of his team. Yeah. So, but with that being said, the New England Patriots, you and I, we couldn't understand what Tennessee was doing when they got rid of him. Just like when they got rid of A.J. Brown, just like when they got rid of Derrick Henry. I don't know why Tennessee felt the need to just abandon that when years before they were a 1 seed in the AFC. The Tennessee Titans were a formidable foe to get to the Super Bowl. That's no problem. Mike Vrabel's like, I'll just sit over here. It'll come my way. And guess what? Give Robert Kraft a lot of credit. You and I aren't the coach firing morning show that some places are. But Mayo was clearly overwhelmed. And they gave him a solid. He was a coach in waiting, and he was overmatched. So on the sideline, you can just imagine Kraft was just after week 2 and week 3 and week 4, he's probably saying, listen, you just sit over there. This is going to be yours. We'll get back to you after the season. And I mean, if you remember, just as quick as Darnold went to Seattle, Mike Vrabel was snatched up, and they made the move from Mayo to Mike Vrabel really quick. And so you and I knew that they were going to change things quickly. I did not see this. I'm pretty sure in the preseason, I thought they'd make the playoffs. I did not see this. And I did not see this ascension of Drake May all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So because you think of Vrabel, what do you think of? You think of defense. You think being led by that, right? And so I'm not surprised that they improved on that side of the football. I did not see the Drake May thing. But, Rick, we should know, I mean, Josh McDaniel, this is his 10th Super Bowl as a coordinator. 10. There's only been 60 of these boys. He's been to 10. So Josh McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. Now, again, when you've got Brady, that don't help. I mean, it don't hurt. So, but here's the thing: when you stack them all up, all he can say is, whether I was along for the ride or whatever, I was there. And so this will be his 10th Super Bowl appearance, and I guess we get the Brady Belichick connection and all that. Clearly, he's meant something to Drake May this year, along with the way Vrabels have coached him. And from the reports that you read, the team embraces Vrabel because he's a hands-on kind of guy. And so when you think of New England,
players coach, right?
Oh, Rick, absolutely. He gets in there, gets blooded up in practice. He
does.
I mean, there's something to that, and it's not folksy either. You can just see he's about it. You know what I mean? Some people may look like they want to do it that way, but Mike Vrabel's really about that noise. He's a big enough guy that if he steps in front of the room, I think I heard you say this when you were referring to my boy with the Dolphins, a leader of men, buddy. He gets in front of them. There is no playing around. And, you see in his post-game press conferences the stuff that we see, he's like, we're going to celebrate this tonight, and tomorrow we get into work. He says, because we haven't done a thing. So he keeps them right where they need to be. And unfortunately for me, that's an AFC East opponent I'm going to have to deal with for a while now, young quarterback and a new coach. And I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm going to be looking up at them for a little while. So when you think of New England, you feel pretty good about where they are. I will say this, though, Rick. Drake May has not had to have a Superman appearance yet.
He has not.
And he has not had it, And so I'm concerned if this thing gets to be 17-0 Seattle, is this the type of thing where Drake May can come back and start slinging it down the field? Does he have the pieces to do that? Or do they need to stay on schedule? Who do you feel better about in that situation? Sam Darnold, if they need to come back, we saw it against the Rams where it got a little wobbly. Sam Darnold was able to make plays. They were starting to match each other. I don't know if I feel that way about Drake May since the postseason. He's got the shoulder that people are talking about. I don't think it's probably as bad as people are saying, but it's probably something. Do you feel like, Rick, I'm teeing it back up to you. Who do you feel better about if it gets to be wobbly and the team has taken a couple of shots, 10-0, 13-0, middle of the second quarter, got to make a drive? Do you feel like he can do that more so than Sam Darnold?
Only because of his running ability. He seems like he's very smart when he needs to, go ahead. He wasn't afraid to do it at Carolina. He created a lot of big plays. He's not like some of these young quarterbacks. Like I saw Bo Nix this year really kind of hesitate, didn't want to run as much. I think May understands it's an asset for him because he's so big and he is fast and he can get around the edge. So maybe I do trust him a little more, even as an inexperienced. I don't think Darnold really has it. Now, Darnold has the experience. So maybe it's a wash, but I would trust him. I would trust him if a play breaks down to be able to try to create something. I think he's probably earned that. He did that against the Broncos in the AFC Championship game a few times. Things were covered up and he would, make something happen with his legs. So even on the snowy field. So, I would trust him.
Even at the end of the game to seal it when they were trying to figure out what to do. He ran the bootleg. I can't remember if they said it was off-schedule play where no one knew he was going to do it but him. But he faked it and made the run, and then he knew enough to slide. I think he has his wits about him. I feel like that's the case now with his legs, but you didn't say with his arm. So we're going to find out how necessary that is because Seattle probably going to make you pay if you run enough. They're going to let you feel which is a strategy. But that's what makes the game great. And so it's kind of a nip and tuck thing. And there are certain things about both teams that I like. I think to me, the quarterbacks that can keep the football, don't make those goofy errors. None of these throw it up for Hail Mary. Live to fight another day. Both of your defenses can keep things under control. I feel I have a little bit more confidence in Seattle's overall roster in the football game. They've got the kick returning game that is special too. So New England, if nothing else, they got to pay attention as to what not to do. not so much trying to tackle the best returner that's happening right now in football. The best thing they can do is kick it out of bounds. Just don't even deal with that. And so you don't want that to raise his head up too. So a lot of factors as you think about this game, but it's kind of exciting in some ways. I was going to say to see new blood, but this is a repeat of I think it's 48 or 49 Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so we'll see how it all plays itself out.
Do you think, is the Super Bowl losing its luster a little bit because of all the things surrounding it? I was thinking about that this week. I've seen a lot of people write about it. The game is, the NFL is very bold about its political stance and the things that it chooses to do around the game. Are we losing sight of the game? The game used to be the only thing. Some of my greatest memories as a sports fan is the Super Bowl. I know it is yours as well. And what the game meant. Is the game now getting clogged up a little bit because of the league and Roger Goodell? It feels like it just a little bit.
Well, I'm probably not the guy to ask because I've always kept the main thing. Like,
yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Yes,
for me, all this other stuff that's going on. Like, I used to be the pregame guy. I'm going to watch all this, everything leading up to it. You can't give me enough coverage. Now, for me, everything that's happened this week has just been noise. I've not paid any attention to much of it at all. I'll read more than I watch. To me, when I feel like the Super Bowl is happening is when the queso dip is simmering, right? And that means that Sunday, about noon on Sunday till about 6, that's when I get into the mode, because the things that I love about the Super Bowl when I was a kid are the same things I'm gonna love about it now. And that is the best pregame stuff that you've seen, features on players and stuff that you've never seen, the way and I'll tell the listeners and viewers, if you want to see something great, I'm sure they'll do it this year. Tune in at 6:00 when they do the kind of the intros showing the parents of the players talking about what it means for you to be to the Super Bowl. If you don't have tears, then you're probably not paying attention. Please, NFL, don't screw it up and not have it this year. I've teed it up. It's great. That's when when the stadium starts to get full and you see the guys warming up on the field. Because for me, I've never cared about any of the other stuff. I know it's all part of it. To me, when I think about this past week, NFL Network aired all 59 Super Bowls in 30-minute clips kind of things. Like,
those are fun. Those are always fun. Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
I tape them on YouTube TV every year because I need something to watch from February till September. So I'll have them all on. Those are great. And then they're going to do America's Game probably here soon. Probably Sunday they'll do all 59 of them. That's what it is to me, because to love sports like I do has always been about the game. It's always been about the blocking and tackling. It's always been else. I'm not blind to it. I'm certainly understanding that it's something. So for me, that noise can distract you from the main thing. To me, when I think about the game, I think about people who have played all their lives, have worked their tail off to get here. They finally got their moment. You think about a guy like Cooper Kupp, who was legendary in some ways in that Super Bowl run that the Rams won.
Yeah.
Right? Gets released by the Rams, goes over to Seattle. Well, we're over Seattle. Boom. He's in another Super Bowl, right? Rams are home. He's in another Super Bowl. Those kinds of stories are good. He's got a kid now, those kinds of things. That's the stuff I think is important to it. And I would encourage our viewers and listeners to make sure that noise, that's fine. It's all well and good. We can chit chat about it. Yeah, Rick, they probably are getting too clouded in a lot of things that they don't probably need to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, to me, and I recognize that business means you've got to toe a lot of lines and try to satisfy a lot of these folks in a lot of ways. And I'm not blind enough to recognize that that's not part of it. But you got to be sure you make sure that your product is good. And one of the things I saw this week, Rick, was the Players Association has no appetite for 18 games. None. They are not interested in 18 games at all. And the NFL keeps lobbing that balloon out there. And the players keep saying, Pop, we're not interested in 18 games. So what's going to have to happen is if they're going to try to do these things, you don't want to ruin this thing, you're going to have to expand rosters and pay people more money, or they're not going to be interested in doing it. Even though the NFL is they're going to do it, Rick. They're going to play an international.
No, it's going to be 18 games. Yeah, it's going to be 18 games. And there's going to be the international games are ridiculous. It's to make teams fly to Australia during the season.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to do something like that and don't expand rosters, don't pay people more. The thing I was listening to, I think Mike Florio talked about it, Rick. To get to that, and I'm not getting off track of is a Super Bowl loss. This is just part of it. I think what they're going to end up having to do it, they're going to have 2 byes, which means that the season will now have to go back to Labor Day.
Right.
And 2 byes, which means, and I've been hearing that they've been wanting to do this forever, that they want the Super Bowl to be on President's Day weekend. That's an extra week on the back end as well. So they can have that audience that can watch the game on Sunday and have the federal holiday on Monday. So that would give them all that. Now that would bleed over into the NBA All-Star game, things of that nature. But that would be, to me, the only practical way to do it. And you got to expand the rosters. You can't just keep operating. I think they're 46-man game day rosters, which is absurd.
It feels weird. Yeah.
Think about what is college football dressed now, Rick? Is I know they have 85. Is it
85? Yeah.
85.
They travel usually 65 or 70, depending on,
You think about that's 40 more players that college football has. Now, again, they're all not the level of the NFL guys, but 40. Sure. Does 46 seem light to you?
46? It's very light. Yeah.
It seems super light when you think about
22 guys play. They only leaves, 24 guys.
Some of them are special teamers. You think about it, we only carrying 2 different offensive linemen. We go on the road, all of a sudden you get a couple people clipped and you got guys moving around. It's amazing that they've been able to get through it that way. So, but to me, so back to your thing, Rick, when I think about the Super Bowl, I keep it in the main thing. I think NFL has got to make sure that they try to not be tone deaf on some of this. Sometimes I wonder who's in charge in terms of some of the things that they do. But even the coaching hires this year, 10 new coaches, 18 in the last 2 years, and only one's going to win the Super Bowl anyway. And you start thinking about some of the recycled coaches. Are they making sure they're looking at all the coaches that are qualified to do this thing? I mean, you got 2 LaFleur's coaching, 2 Harbaugh's coaching. It just seems like it's just the same guys that are all within the same cliques getting jobs. And you just say to yourself, are we doing right by the league? Are we doing right by the players?
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with Chad. I think the NFL has pretty much planted its political flag. And I think when you go about trying to isolate half your audience, that's a dangerous slope the league seems to be going down. And I hate to see that. I can't stand politics to begin with, and I hate it. I know it's naive to think it doesn't happen, but I can't stand the fact that it's entrenched itself so much into sports, and the league seems to be very eager to show you how they feel about things. And I think that it's going to come out in a negative way for them this weekend. You have counter halftime shows. You have protests going on in the streets now. I mean, in things the league's not trying. It feels like there's too much around the game for me to be able to focus yet. But you're right. Once we kick it off and the game starts and you start hearing Tirico and Collinsworth, maybe all that other stuff will go away for a few hours.
Well, and that's really what it's about. I mean, because for me, and again, I'm probably not the most popular guy to have a microphone and talk about stuff because everybody wants to hear about the burn and that kind of thing. So somebody else will give you that. For me, I'm trying to see if Sam Darnold's going to have the stuff to take that team down the field when it matters.
Yeah.
In front of X amount of people in an outdoor game. I think I should look at the weather. I think it's actually going to be okay. What a shame it would be if it rained.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be all right. So what a shame it would be if it rained. I think the only time I remember that was Peyton Manning Super Bowl over the Bears in Miami. I think it was Miami. And it rained the whole game. Like
with the greatest halftime show to date with Prince.
That's crazy.
In the rain.
In the Purple Rain, 2006, I think it was. Rick, a ball game.
So good.
It never rains. I remember hearing Peyton Manning talk about, he says, well, it's just a drizzle. He says, it never rains in the Super Bowl. It rained the whole Super Bowl. Of course, the Sean Payton surprise onside kick that changed the land. No, I'm wrong. That was the Bears game. Peyton was the next Super Bowl that Peyton Manning lost. Yes. So, 2006 against Lovie Smith and the Bears. That was the rain game with Prince. That's exactly right.
No, you're right. Still the greatest halftime show forever. Think about where we are with halftime shows. What we had then and what we're getting this year. Yay!
Well, you know what's funny about that is the Michael Jackson, when I read this, I did not know this, that it was to counter what was happening on Fox, who didn't have the Super Bowl, was in living color.
That's right.
Which had siphoned some of the audience, and the NFL was like, well, let me just go get the King of Pop. Let's get him. Who's going to watch now? And so that just led to a whole litany of different things as we move this thing forward. So now we're on to this, and each and every year it ends up being, how can you top this or how can you screw it up more? So we'll see what it all means. But nonetheless, the game is a star, and the queso dip is a star. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a queso rotel dip. Google it. You'll find out what I'm talking about. Right. It is fantastic. It is fantastic.
Well, so are you. Next week, if you have time, we'll review the game, and we'll get in. I want to talk to you about the hires a little bit, and we'll get in specifically with your Dolphins and so forth. I'd like to get your thoughts on, all that. So
we will, but we can't leave without making a pick, brother. So we are wrapping up the season, and we'll tally up all the picks that we made. I know we had some off weeks. So who do you like in the game?
We're AFC guys, you and I.
Who do you like? Who do you like?
I'm going Seattle.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm not saying I want them to win, but I think Seattle's got a little more to them. That running game you mentioned seems to be more consistent to me. Yeah, so I'm going to go Seattle.
As we know, the most complete team doesn't always win. The champion is the champion. Who plays well on that day matters. I mean, you think about the Arizona Cardinals with Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald. They thought they had that wrapped up, and Big Ben comes down the field and he throws that ball in the corner to, I think it was Santonio Holmes. He tiptoes over in the corner with that play. So, again, it's why we watch the games. I, too, think Seattle's going to win it. And so, yeah, we'll recap the game next week, and we'll talk about these coaching hires, and then we'll also talk about, I guess, Rick, the draft is coming down the pike. I will tease with this. I think the Raiders did a great job.
I know they did.
But Rick, they had no choice. They
had no choice. Yeah.
They bottomed out. It laid there for them. All they had to do was get the right coach. It bottomed out for them. And I think they got the right guy too. I do.
Oh, they did. They paired it perfectly. It's going to end up being, and our whole division is going to be chaos. We'll have to get into all that.
We'll talk about it. That's why we'll be back. I'll be back on next week, brother. We'll catch up.
All right, man. But best to you and the fam, man. You guys stay safe. I missed seeing you last night at the game.
Yeah, missed being there too. I was at the women's game here in Longwood, and they lost in overtime. Tough loss. Yeah, but we all both teams have High Point Saturday. So
yes, correct.
Heavy lifting. So we need
heavy
to bounce back. We need to bounce back. Yes, sir.
Stay safe, man. Let's talk soon.
You got it.
All right, brother. Be good. Great stuff. Davis, man, you're not going to find better NFL analysis anywhere. That guy is the best. I miss him. Been busy. He's helping out, I know, with his grandbaby and so forth. David is one of the best around, and I want to do more things with him. He and I are going to revisit our channel coming up, our off channel here on the show, Sports and More. We're going to figure out what we're going to do, but I want to do more things with him. He's just he's outstanding, man. David is really, really good. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room, and also on the text line's popping. A lot more stuff about the Franklin presser. People chiming in. I think people are going back and watching some this morning. Heard from Big Al. Heard from is this the worst Super Bowl ever? I don't know. I think I tried to express it there, Prometheus. It for me, and this is why everybody, how you feel is how you feel, and it's wonderful. And I hope people understand I mean that. I'm not looking for people to agree with my points of view, all right? That's not what makes us successful. But to your point, I'm more bothered by the things surrounding the game this year, because it feels like to me this year, the NFL has gone out of its way to tell you that it sides with one particular side of the political spectrum over what anybody else thinks. They kind of have tried to stay out of it. But this year, with the decisions they made, and this goes back to the whole discussion about Franklin and local media access and how it's going to go, actions will reveal all and will end any speculation. Actions end speculation. Words create speculation, and somebody's going to get an opinion here and there. Roger Goodell the other day made asinine comments about how he thought that it didn't matter about the political leanings and what had been done before, about the two acts that the league actively chose. Green Day, Bad Bunny, who I still have never heard one of his songs, what they have said in the past, how they have aligned, how they've ridiculed people who disagree with them. And for him to get up there and say that he doesn't think that that's going to come into play and it's going to be a terrific show and bring unity, it doesn't make any sense. You went out of your way to take one side. You're taking one side. And it clogs the machine. So for me, Prometheus, thanks, AT Symbol. Welcome aboard. Please subscribe to the channel. That was a fun hour. Thank you so much. Welcome. The @ symbol. I like that. That's awesome. That's clever. That's clever. I don't know. Just the things around it are bugging me. And maybe, for David, he's focused just on the game. And maybe when the game starts, I'll feel the same way. For now, I'm really bothered by the whole thing. And maybe it changes for me. I have a hard time nowadays when you see people, going out of their way so much to tell you how they feel about things. I don't think the league needs to go there. It's supposed to be the most popular league in the world, and it is. I don't know. It just bugs me. I mean, I'm not going to watch halftime either. And it's not really the point of who the halftime guest is. I mean, I'm not going to pay any attention to it. I couldn't care less. But the actions leading up to it is what bothers me about the league. Tebow says the last few Super Bowl halftime shows have been trash. Roger Goodell's made the NFL political. He has, 100%. He says, I went back and forth even watching anymore. I get it. I think you summed up, Tebow, exactly how I feel about it. Morris says, when you lose your target market, you're headed down the rabbit hole. Ask Bud Light and Crackle Barrel. Yeah, it just seems like there's this overboard of being able to separate one side of the country and everybody just falls in line. We saw it at this dumbass award show. And now there's backlash. I love it. I love to see people pushing back at the just inane comments of who was it? Billie Eilish? I don't even know who that is. And the fact that you have lawyers wanting to work pro bono because they found out that her state is directly on top of an Indian burial ground. You can't make up the beautiful irony of that. But the league is pushing one side of this equation. You can't deny it. If you're on that side of it, you're not going to agree with it. But when you're trying to see things from a sports perspective and what sports has always meant in your life, and I guess it's naive of me to think that you can separate the two. But the NFL really seems to be stepping further and further into the political realm, and I think it's very disappointing, regardless of which side of it you sit on. Let's just play the sport and play the games. Let the game be the bigger thing. And they're not going to care about anybody's opinion because they're going to make more money this year than they ever have. They're on their way to being $1 trillion industry. Billions will be watching on Sunday, and they're going to tell you everything's just fine. All the international games are just fine, and we're going to play 18 games. Doesn't matter what the Players Association thinks, and we're going to have 2 buys and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Joining us now on the program, it's going to happen. There he is. He's the lead writer for Tech Sideline. It's Andy Bitter. What's up, AB? How are you?
Another snow day. That's how I am.
Yeah, what was up? Where are you? How much did you get where you are? I got there's almost 2 inches out here in Ryder. Surprising.
I didn't even look outside. I'll be honest. I was asleep. I got the call. It's like it's 9 straight. This is, Ferris Bueller was considered truant with 9 absences. This is the level we were. It's early February in the semester. They're going to be going to school till July to make up for this stuff. This is ridiculous.
That's a great point. He was truant, wasn't he? With 9 losses, with 9 absences. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It kind of surprised me overnight. Apparently, it happened overnight because it wasn't that much when I got home from the Radford game last night.
Yeah, I mean, They said 2-hour delay, and I celebrated too soon 2 days ago. So I'm like, not this time. Somebody's like, this is like fumbling the ball as you're going over the goal line on a breakaway run. I'm like, yeah. Yes, only if you were already down 40-0 when you did it. That's what that was like. So I shut up this time. This one is not on me. I wore the one yesterday. That was my fault. This one was not my fault.
So they've shut down all the schools again, is what you're telling me? Everybody
there's no school again. So my daughter will be coming into the podcast studio with me today.
All right.
So, learning some real life skills, I guess. It's time to get a job, I guess, because she's never gone back to school.
Exactly. All right. Well, you were at the football presser yesterday. What were some of your impressions? I saw some of the things Chris was writing about. What was your take on Franklin, the way that was handled, and what do you expect going forward in terms of your access in the local media? What did you feel?
Oh well, access. That's a whole can of worms. I don't know what we're going to get. I mean, it was going in. I knew we weren't going to get a lot because Franklin talks a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, you're going to get him for 20 minutes. I'm like, that ain't good. Because he gave a 13-minute opening monologue. And then I think we got 4 questions in. So I had a laundry list of questions. I mean, it's been 2 months since we talked to him. So I had all sorts of transfer questions. We really only got to the coaching staff. That was about it because he ran through the coaching staff. We got a few questions in about sort of changes around Merriman. Brent Pry obviously coming back was the big topic, and to me the most interesting thing of the day. But didn't get to really run through the roster. I mean, they had 27 transfers that came in. I think we only got to ask really about Grunkemeyer because it was just not enough time to do it. So, we'll see. We'll see exactly how much we can find out. I don't know when the next time we're going to talk to him is. It might be right before spring ball, for all I know, but. Sort of a lot of answers left, questions left unanswered, I should say, because we didn't have a chance to get to it. But, I think it was interesting him going through his staff and sort of explaining all his connections and stuff like that. And, he starts off on the press conference and he's like, I don't hire friends. I think that is the big thing that everybody has said about it. Is like, these are just guys that you've hired. And he's like, no, I hire them because they're good football coaches. And, some of them become friends over time. But, I think he wanted to get out there and get ahead of that because I think that's sort of what a narrative is right there about his style of how he's hired coaches. But, he's hired big time names in the past and it hasn't necessarily worked out. So, I can't really fault him for hiring guys that he's comfortable with and, going to battle with those guys on his staff.
Well, I was wondering because I didn't get to see it. We were busy yesterday, game day and everything. So people were sending me texts that he said that we may not give you any local media access going forward. We're going to control this thing. People here in chat are saying he never said that. You were there. So that's why I wanted to ask you. And I'm very concerned because I think what you do and what Damien does and Teal, you guys are the crux of information because you're going to write. You want to know this program needs to be covered by you guys. So it really bothers me if the mindset is, you may not have it. It's just going to go to national people who don't really care anyway. That's what I'm hoping doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say that. He came out and said, how can we help you and work to get the coverage? I've heard that before, though, and I've had discussions with people at Tech about coverage and access, and it doesn't really change things. They're going to sort of do what they're going to sort of do. So we'll see how it goes. I think Franklin is a guy who talks to the national people a lot and likes to get his name out there. That's makes sense for a program that needs national recognition. I would hope that he would also understand that there's value and importance on local people getting access too, because those are that's the crux of his fan support. The people that are going to be the diehards, the do or dies are there. So, we'll sit down, we'll talk about it, and I'm sure we can come to some sort of agreement that can be beneficial to everybody.
That's all I want. I just want you guys to have a shot because you're right. You're the voice of the community. You're the voice of the people. I mean,
I don't know about that.
No, I think you are. I think people want to know what you see because you're honest. They want to know, and I think you kind of resemble people's mindset toward the program. So I think that's important. So that's good. That's good to hear.
Well, let's push for it at least.
Let's push for it and see what happens. What was your take on the offense? You talked to the new OC. I mean, did we get some insight? What kind of things do you expect to see? Is it going to be very similar to what Franklin did at Penn State? What'd you get out of that?
It was tough to get. We got a little bit of an idea of it. he kind of outlined his philosophy on it, and QB friendly offense starts with the offensive line. I think it's probably music to everybody's ears that they have to get the lines right, and it's going to be a physical group that's going to play that way, and then try to figure out explosive plays for the skill players. And I think when you get down to it, that is the offensive philosophy for every offense. So I just said, we didn't really get into X's and O's. Not that I expected them to. I don't think Ty Howell's going to sit there and be like, well, here's everything we're going to do on offense. I would expect more tight end use. That's his specialty. I mean, his tight end room at Penn State was phenomenal over the years. And Tyler Warren and how good he was. And, they brought a couple transfers in from Penn State. So I think you will see a lot more tight ends in the offense, maybe more 2 or 3, 12 or 13 personnel, stuff like that. But the name of the game on offense is pretty similar. And I think he had a phrase in there. He's like, we have to earn the pass by running or something like that. I forget the exact phrase he had. But he's like, you have to run the ball to be able to earn the right to pass the ball down the field. And that's, one of the axioms of offensive football. You're not just go out there and be like, well, they're going to have to respect our run game. We're just going to throw it deep. No, you have to make them earn that respect on the run game to be able to throw it deep. So, I think there's been a lot of criticism over the years on Franklin's offense, and, it's a little buttoned up. He has said, this is a little bit warmer climate than Penn State. Doesn't look like it outside, but it is when you get to the fall.
Yeah, right
perhaps,
now,
perhaps you could play a little bit more open style of offense than you had to at Penn State, because it did get cold so quickly, and you had to play in those Big Ten games that were going to be, you're going to play Iowa, and you're not going to score 50 points on Iowa going up and down the field. So I think there's maybe a little bit different approach that you can take in the ACC and where Virginia Tech is, and the type of athletes they get here. So we'll see once they get the product on the field. But it was refreshing to talk to Howell, and Franklin's like, he's been a play caller before. It's like, but limited. I mean, it's been a limited amount of time, and kind of took over it here in the last year. But I think it's encouraging. He seemed like a bright young coach, and I'm curious to hear some more about him.
Well, and you mentioned the most interesting thought of the whole thing to me was the whole Brent Pry coming out the reveal. What was your take? Did he seem like the old Brent Pry in a lot of ways? What was your take hearing him talk about everything?
Yeah, I mean, he's nice and relaxed, it seemed like, when he came in with a coffee, and he's like, let's see, who are these guys out here? And he's got a charm to him when he's stepping up in front of a crowd like that. That was always his forte. He was Mr. Positivity, Mr. Energy, even when the chips were down with Virginia Tech. That was never a criticism of him at the time. It was just, could he get the job done? But he stayed positive, stayed energetic through the whole process, even things were struggling. He talked about, the comfort that he had with James Franklin, how it was like sort of getting back into old times. And it took like one day to reach that feeling again, to understand that partnership and how well it works. And like, oh yeah, this is why we were such a good tandem at Vanderbilt and Penn State. And, I asked him, what is it refreshing to be able to go back and be a coordinator? Because, you're the head coach. Everything comes across your desk, even stupid things that you would never think that you'd have to make decisions on about, punishment and discipline and this off field, like when are you going to leave for the game, and uniforms and all this other stuff that you're like, I'm not coaching ball, and that's what these guys got into this game to do, was to get hands-on work with players. And he kind of talked about, when he was a head coach, he missed being in that defensive room. He was in there a little bit, but not as much as he wanted to be. And being able to do that and be in charge of a defense again, I mean, it's got to be both liberating to not have to worry about that other stuff, and B, refreshing. You got to get back to your roots and what you were great at, and just be a football coach again.
Yeah, that's a great point. Self-awareness, right? And maybe he understands I'm a coordinator. That's what I was born to do. That's what I love to do. Some of these NFL guys have had to concede, that have had jobs and went back to be a successful coordinator. So it sounds like maybe he's come to that recognition as well, and that's a very positive thing.
Yeah, and if you're going to do it for a coach that you've done it with for, a decade plus, and that you go back 30 years with. And, he said he had some opportunities to be a coordinator at other schools. And he's like, well, those come with a lot of unknowns as well. You don't know how you pair up with the staff, the coach. You know what kind of freedom you'll have to kind of run what you want to run. Those questions are already answered with Franklin. Those two trust each other implicitly. And I think that's important on a coaching staff. There will be no surprises with Brent Pry coaching for James Franklin. They've done this before. They know how each other operate. And I think that more than anything is critical in this, because how many times that's the perfect coaching fit, this guy going there, and then he gets there and it just doesn't work. It's like, this was not what I was promised. I mean, I covered Auburn back in the day when they hired Tony Franklin. Tommy Tuberville hired Tony Franklin to be his offensive coordinator. And that was like oil and water. It was awful. And I got there 3 weeks in and the wheels fell off. They ended up firing him after they lost to Vanderbilt, I think it was. And that was like week 5, week 6 in the middle of the season. And the staff was a bad mix. The pairing was a bad mix. The offense didn't fit the personnel. You're not getting that with this. James Franklin knows exactly what he's hiring in Brent Pry, and I can imagine he's going to deliver.
Well, you mentioned too, the only player you really got to talk about was Grunkmeyer a little bit. Did anything come out of that? Or I mean,
not really. It was Franklin kind of directed the question more about the room and talking about, we kind of ideally we would have liked to, the Hokies would have liked to have separated the classes a bit. I mean, Grunkmeyer is a redshirt sophomore. Baker is a redshirt freshman, 2 other redshirt freshmen, and then Troy Hune coming in as a true freshman. That is sort of everybody clustered together. Ideally, you'd like a senior, junior, sophomore, freshman, redshirt freshman. That's not what they have. But he's like, you know what? This isn't, the NFL. You don't go out there and sign who you want to, and everybody's available, or just pick them off a shelf at a grocery store. You got to get what is available, and this was the best fit. And we'll see how this offense fits. That's the things. We didn't really get into the transfers and how they fit in the scheme that they want and the other things like that. So I have a whole roster of questions. If we could talk to him tomorrow, I'd have plenty more material to go back and ask him more.
Well, I hope you get a chance before, the beginning of spring, because you're right. How all these pieces fit together, it's just such a different world now with all these portal guys, the mindsets, different guys making levels of money. You have to work a little different as a staff, don't you? And those are things now that I think a lot of fans may forget about, but it's a different world out there constructing these rosters. It really is. It
is, and I'm really curious about his approach, because his approach is not to go for a bunch of one-year guys. You've seen a lot of schools do that, and then they have to do it again the next year, and the next year after that, they keep it up. A lot of the transfers that he took from Penn State were guys that had 3 or 4 years of eligibility left, which is great. And you talk about development, but you also then have to pay them for 3 or 4 years and pay them enough for 3 or 4 years to keep them here that whole time to develop. So I'm very interested to see how this approach works in this new college football landscape. And, if that is sustainable, if they can keep it up. And if the culture is good and he gets along and the relationships are good enough with these players, perhaps it can. But that you also run the risk of, hey, you develop these guys a little bit and they're not quite playing as much as they want. Then that development leaves with them to go somewhere else because a better opportunity or more money awaits them in that spot.
Probably not, but did you get any insight as to how much the roster cost, how much they spent on players?
No idea. I mean, that's going to be a trade secret that they will keep guarded. And
I thought I'd ask.
Honestly, even if I heard the number, I don't know if I'd believe it, because I think if the players or agents put it out there, I feel like it'd be too much. It'd be too high, because that's in their best interest to have that higher and pump up the market. And if I heard it from the team, it'd probably be low ball, because
too low, right?
They don't want other teams to hear how much they're spending on stuff.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Well, great stuff, man. Great stuff. And I hope so you don't know when you might get another chance. I guess you just wait for the next press release, the next text from Travis.
I think we're going to sit with Travis and talk about coverage and access and when opportunities could arise in this offseason, especially. I think we're hoping to get the rest of the new assistant coaches sometime before spring ball. But that's a lot of time before spring ball. So now is the time to do it, because it's a recruiting dead period.
Yeah.
I would imagine some of them are going to try to get some vacation in. I'd get away from the snow if I could. That would be a smart thing to do. And it's earned vacation after the recruiting class they had to put together, the the transfer class they had to put together, junior days and all the stuff that they're doing. So I would imagine this is the time to get some time in before the true, get down to work and spring ball stuff begins.
Yeah, right. 100%. 100%. Well, enjoy your 9th straight snow day, even though you're going to break all school rules by missing so much school. So
and I'm not hopeful for tomorrow. Just if we go tomorrow, it's like 1 day out of 10. Like, I'll take it, but come on, what are we doing?
I know, right? All right. Real quick, who's winning on Sunday? Who you got? Seattle, New England?
Give me Seattle. I don't like to pick the chalk, the favorite, but I just Drake May's kind of hurt, and the Patriots played on the way here. They've gotten pretty lucky with some of their quarterback matchups and some of the injuries that happened there. I know Vrabel's a great coach, and if you're playing him in a blackjack game where you're just trying to get to 21, perhaps that is an advantage for the Patriots. But I think this Seattle defense is really good. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, I know the Patriots have a good cornerback that could sort of lock him down, but I don't know if you shut him down completely. I think he's just going to make some plays. I love the Sam Darnold story. As a Vikings fan, and I'm a little upset they let him go, and now he's doing this, but I'm happy for him. The guy's on his 5th franchise doing this.
Yeah, I know.
That's good to see. I love the storylines. I'm definitely rooting for Seattle. I mean, you have to be a pretty diehard Patriots fan to specifically root for the Patriots right now. But no, I rooting for Seattle, and I think Seattle will win.
Okay, yeah, I do too. That's who I think is going to win. The best team will win. All right, man. Listen, have a great weekend. Enjoy the game, and maybe those 50-degree temperatures can't get here soon enough next week. So
yeah, please. Just give us a little reprieve.
Something. All right, brother. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you, JB. All right, man. You get there. You go. Andy Bitter. Good stuff for me. 9 straight snow days. Wow. That's a lot. Oh, my goodness. That's a whole lot. Oh, I wish my head would stop hurting. All right. Sorry. It was weird. Like in the second half of the game last night, man, just started. Now, I'm not one of these people that, a lot of times people get a bad headache and they'll say, oh, I've got a migraine. Now, I've had family members and friends who have migraine. Matter of fact, he's over it now, I think, but Mark Hundley at McClellan Chiropractic. I was over his house one weekend a long time ago. We were growing up, and he had a migraine is a different world, man. I mean, you have to sit in the dark, different meds, you cover your eyes, it makes you physically ill. So I never want to say that I have a migraine. I hate when people go, oh, I've got a migraine. No, you don't. You got a bad headache. Well, I've got a bad headache. And it started kind of last night, so I'm getting a little, I don't know why it's hanging around. But anyway, Louise Baker is going to stop by here in just a little bit, and she's giving away Tech basketball tickets coming up. So that's going to be cool. And she's going to have trivia. And again, Louise is all about the community, and she's going to have a little segment here before Dwight Vick. Marty and Rag scheduled for next Wednesday. Again, Coach had hernia surgery, so he needs a little time to recover a little bit. Let's go to chat here. Where are we here? Sorry, I lost track of chat. Andy was on. I don't know if Andy set the record straight. I think he's still wondering, and he's going to have a further conversation with Travis Wells about local access. I mean, I hope it just doesn't come right before spring ball. We'll see. Chris Coleman sent this. He said, well, we just have to accept Franklin's not going to do many interviews. He will talk a lot. He doesn't want to take many questions. He mentions the 20 minutes. He spent 13 minutes on his opening statement, which really didn't say a whole lot. We only had 7 minutes for questions. He's going to focus on the national media, and it's probably not great news for us local guys. So that was the impression that he got out of the whole thing. It's just like I said, if you're listening to it and you're a fan, you're going to have one mindset and you're going to have another. Big Al, who might be the most loyal Hokie fan that I've ever been around, he's getting ready to have 400 consecutive games that he's attended. I think he's been a Hokie Club member for 30, 35. Actually, you know what? For me, I did. When I took the hat off, it hurt worse. So I don't know, man. It's just, so I put it back on. It's funny you say that because I thought, okay, I'm going to put the hat on. Sometimes mine has the opposite. It's like when you got something on there, it takes the focus off. But maybe I'll try that. Yeah, maybe I'll try that. Let me try that and see if it works. But it's pretty prominent right now, man. It's pretty prominent right now. Yeah. And I usually don't get headaches. And when you get a little older, when you get headaches, you start to worry a little bit. Just saying. So I'm hoping that doesn't mean anything. And usually when I get them, I can take some ibuprofen, some Tylenol, and, a couple hours they'll be gone. But this one's kind of hanging in there. And I don't like it. Big Al didn't have a positive impression of the presser yesterday. I'm not going to speak for him, but when he joins us here, he can chime in on our chat room or whenever he's back in here. I don't think he's in here today. People are mad about the snow. So Terry's yelling at me, by the way. Terry on the text line. Terry on the text line is yelling at me about the NFL. He's saying he doesn't think the NFL has been political at all. All right. Terry, let me ask you an honest question. If the halftime guest was someone who had openly sided with Donald Trump, right? Like, say, played at a fundraiser or an inauguration or said that they would not vote for the other side, do you think that they would be the halftime show at the Super Bowl? Do you think the NFL would have hired that artist who was that open about their politics that disagreed with what they thought? Do you really believe that, Terry? That's all I'm asking. Ask an honest question of yourself. Without being naive about it. Right? Just let me know. Let me know if you think that is an honest assessment. Or if you're giving yourself an honest assessment by thinking that it's not political. If it were the other side and you had an artist who was very outspoken about people that disagreed with him or her on the other side, do you think they would be part of this Super Bowl halftime? I think we know the answer. Joining us now on the program, providing all the answers. She's the lady in red. There she is, Louise Baker from the Louise Baker Long and Foster team, of course, because of Louise. Mike Burnett joins us. There she is. What's going on, lady? How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm good. How about you? I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a headache that kind of kicked in the second half last night, and it's been there. It's just
I would say it probably kicked in the last 2 seconds when Winthrop made that 2-point play. That I can see why you had a headache after that very last series there.
We've played them twice. We've played them twice, and now we've lost by a total of 3 points. So,
oh, that's such a heartbreaker.
Very, very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is great because we always talk about you and the dedication to your craft, and really your craft involves the community and how much you care about folks and different things. And first of all, how is things now? As we get to February and you got all this stuff coming out of Richmond, I mean, you get into spring, warmer months, that's when things kind of heat up for you, don't they?
Well, I can tell you that I'm very, very tired of seeing white. I'm very glad when we get back to green grass and warmer weather. Yeah, and cold weather and snow and travel really shuts down our business for a while. Folks just can't get out. Sellers don't want people tramping in. So I've got some really good listings in the pipeline right now, but it's hard to figure out when to put them on the market, when people can travel to get out to see them. So yeah, I got a lot of things I think that are going to happen around the end of February, early March. So I think listing inventory is going to be better. Interest rates have settled right around the 6 mark. So I think the spring's going to be good.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. And our peeps are going to be glad to hear because you've got more goodies for them.
I do.
Obtain here.
I want to do a little commercial first.
Absolutely. 100%.
I've done a commercial or two.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Although my heart is broken that the auto dealer signs were changed when I drove through Radford. Yeah. I'm sure you can feel the heartbreak on that. But
yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it is. But I want to give a shout out to Little River Heating and Air, because I'm a firm believer that as much as we can support small businesses, we should. So at my house, I've got 2 heating systems and I've got 2 investment properties. And so as we get into wintertime, then I want those, they're all on heat pumps or gas furnaces. So I want them checked, I want them cleaned. And I'd reached out to somebody who'd done some work for me before, but just not follow up, not feedback, not scheduling the appointments. I mean, it's a huge aggravation. So I thought, now what would Rick do? Well, he would call Little River Heating and Air. 100%. So I did that and talked to Chuck. He came out to my house. I have a propane gas furnace and learned that the furnace was not working correctly. It was not burning correctly. And it's only 2 years old. And so he, number of trips, conversations with the company, got a new burner. And the day before the first storm, he came out on that Friday morning, put it in. And so a huge shout out to that group. They did a good job for me.
Did you talk about the show? Did you talk about me?
Well, you were mentioned, yes. When I first talked to Chuck, I said, I am calling you because of Rick Watson and your sponsorship of Big Dog. So,
well, we had somebody else this week. Yeah, on Monday they said, "Hey, I said, look, if you call Mr. Sink, those folks, it'll be the best call you ever made. You'll be taken care of forever. They're the best. That's awesome. That's great to hear. I love that. Cross-contamination of our sponsors. I love it.
It's called support.
It is. It's called support. Well, thank you. That's good to know. So there you go, peeps. Give Charles Sink a call. Little River Heating and Air. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. Did a good job.
Well, thank you. That's awesome. All right. So what are we giving away today for our peeps?
We have women's basketball tickets. The Lady Hokies.
Okay.
The Lady Hokies are playing incredible right now. You have to love Mackie Nelson when she can make the ESPN top 10 plays in beating UVA on Sunday. There are 5 games left in their season. And one of them is tonight at 7:00 with Notre Dame. So everybody needs to watch. I'm not sure if it's on Extra or if it's on the ACC, but it is tonight at 7:00. And then the big one we're going to talk about is Sunday. They're back at Castle Sunday with NC State. And the tip is at noon on Sunday the 8th. So I have a 4-pack, family pack, general admission tickets to that game that we're going to give away.
Okay.
So I can either print them and they can pick them up, or I can send them electronically, whatever your listener would prefer, in order to receive the tickets. But Virginia Tech and NC State have a very long history of playing tough games in women's basketball. Their first meeting was January of 1980. So 46 years ago was their first meeting. Both teams right now are 8-3 in the ACC, with Virginia Tech having the more wins at 18, and NC State is at 15 wins. Their next meeting is going to be Sunday, as I spoke, and we're going to have a lucky winner this morning who's going to be able to go.
Awesome.
Wes Moore is the head coach for the Wolfpack, and he's in his 13th season. His record is 301-95.
That's not bad, is it?
Oh my gosh! When I was doing research for this, for a little build-up, that was so incredible to me that in 13 seasons, 301, and he's gone really high in the NCAA tournaments. He's won ACC tournaments a couple of times. So yeah, he's an incredible coach. So Megan's going to have her hands full, but I know she can handle it. NC State dominated the series until 2021, when Virginia Tech had a breakthrough win over the number 2 ranked team. On a tremendous shooting of a legendary 3-point shooter, she led the Hokies to their first win over a top five opponent with 28 points. So to win the tickets, you have to tell us who was the player from this 2021 team that put them over the top for the Hokies' first win over NC State.
All right, and we'll take that either here in the chat or we'll take it on the text line, the professional door text line, 391-0788. We're looking for the player, Louise just mentioned it, the player that scored 28 points to knock off North Carolina State back in 2021. And if you get it right, how many is it? It's 4 tickets for the game?
Yes. Family 4-pack. It's 4. And it's a noon tip-off, so it'll be daylight and it won't be snowing. So
it will not be snowing. That's exactly right. Well, you hope. I mean, I'd expected it to be snowing last night into the morning, but here we are.
No kidding.
Yes,
yeah, no kidding.
Here we are. So again,
they really do need to sell out Castle. They've got 3 home games left. Of course, Sunday with NC State. The Thursday, the 19th, North Carolina comes to town. And then on the 22nd, the last Sunday, is Georgia Tech. So we've got some really good games, and folks need to get behind this team and support them and sell out Castle.
So the first 2 guesses, one here in chat and one on the text line, guessed the same player, and that is incorrect.
Who'd they say?
Kayla King.
Well, that's a good guess.
From David Mabry and here in chat. And Michael on the text line said Kayla King. It is not Kayla King. We're looking for a different player that had 28 points. It's not Georgia Amore. I've gotten 3 on the text line. So your questions, people have been thinking about it. Not Georgia Amore.
Should I give him a hint?
No, I believe we have a new leader in the clubhouse, Tebow. You want to go ahead and give the answer? Because Tebow has guessed Aisha Shepard.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay, Tebow, you got it. You got it,
Aisha
man.
Shepard.
That was great.
She was from 2017 to 2022. And she led the Hokies to their first ever win with 28 points.
Nice.
In January of 2021.
Wow, 28 points against a team ranked number 2 in the country. That's impressive.
That's incredible, I think.
That's impressive. Tebow, are you good for the game? Can you go? You want all 4? Let me know, man. That's good. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Now here comes people on the text line. Thank you, everybody who's sending texts. We just got the winner. Tebow was first. He was first by about a minute and a half here in the chat room. So thank you, everybody who participated. That was a good question. People were eager to get those. That's good. That's good.
Well, so what we can do to support women's sports?
Yeah. Well, yesterday was National Women in Sports Day, by the way. And I know how much that means to you. That was awesome. It does,
yeah. It really does. It really does. And, sports is such a character-building activity. And I mean, just look at how well Liz Kitley is doing. I love to hear her on ACC. And it is something to see her and Muppet McGraw, on the ACC channel. She's like 3 feet taller than anybody else. But she's so poised, and she does such a wonderful job with her commentary.
Tebow, when I asked him if he was good to go, said, "Does a pound of flour make a big biscuit?" Yeah, he's good.
No, that's good.
All right, so is the best way, Tebow, you want him to reach out to this number here, Louise, 540-320-0382. I mean, I don't want to give your personal info out, but what's the best way he can get a hold of you and vice versa? How do you want to handle that to get the ticket?
Yeah, the number there is a cell phone number, so he can certainly text me. and let me know the best way. Again, I can print them and he can pick them up, or I'm happy to send them electronically. And I can send them either on a text or an email. Because I know when David won the other set, he wanted it sent by email. And so that worked fine. So I'll get them to them however it works best for them.
Okay. All right. What do you want to give your email? Do you want to do it that way, or how do you want to do it? I don't care. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. So,
well, just have him text me first because it's a little easier. If he wants it by email, I'll give him the email address in the text.
So this is the correct number right here, 540-320-0382?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go, Tebow. Just get that number and reach out to Louise. It is he's going to text you 540 Tebow 320-0382. 540-320-0382. So there you go. There you go. Awesome. That was a great question. We had about 8 or 9. We're still getting people trying to answer the question. So that was good. That was good. Yeah, she was good, wasn't she? That Aisha Shep, she was pretty good. Yeah,
she was. Yeah, she was
pretty good.
And when I first started getting involved, there was a girl, the first girl I ever saw out of Australia, and I'll think of her name here in a little bit, really set some records. And then, of course, once this team, Aisha Shepard was on Kenny Brooks's first team when he came from JMU to Virginia Tech.
Right.
And they really, had a close relationship. And then you get the Kitleys and the Amores and that spectacular group then in the Kayla Kings. It's interesting because Kayla King now is coaching with Clemson. So she was back in Castle when Clemson came to town. And so I was able to go to that game. So they gave her a little welcome back to Castle. She got a big hug from Megan Duffy. I think that shows some class. That
Wayne says he's going to text Louise and pretend he's Tebow because he wanted the tickets. I
got to ask for some ID, shouldn't I?
And by the way, Prometheus is going to call you. He has some questions about financing. See how this works. That's why this format works so much better.
That's right.
Tebow, yeah, do that, Prometheus. Louise, I'm telling you, and I don't say this because she's on with us now. I love this lady. She's part of our family. She turned the worst situation I've ever dealt with in my life into something that was plausible. So you did that. So
well, see, when you were sick with a cold, I sent you food that made you better.
You did, and it helped. It helped. Yeah. That was terrible. God, that was awful. I'm getting
not my food. Now that wasn't my brunch.
No, the food was great, but I couldn't shake it, and now I got this awful headache. So, any headache remedies that you know of that you've ever had?
I got a good pill, but I can't get it to you. I'm afraid. Because I sort of have that bad headache too. Mine's weather related, but I've gone to a couple of doctors and got some good stuff.
I don't know whether Louise refinances, but she can give you all sorts of help. I know that, right? You know all that stuff.
I can recommend it. Yeah, I can recommend a good lender.
And you want to talk to her, Prometheus. Trust me, she will not stray you in the wrong direction. Absolutely. Well, that was awesome, Louise Baker, Long and Foster.
Thank you, Rick. I always
thank you for doing that.
Even if it's on the little computer screen.
No, that's great. And thanks for doing that. That's great that you do that for the peeps. And they're excited. And Tebow will go with his family, and that'll be great to support.
I think it's a good way that you and I can connect and certainly be able to be helpful to Virginia Tech sports. And remember the 3 more home games, buy some tickets, let's sell out Castle and cheer.
That's right. That's right. Well, there's no bigger Hokie than you. Burnup talks about it all the time. I mean, seriously, you're now a Highlander. We got you in the door at Radford now too.
I know, that's right. It's so funny when I go to men's games. I always where my seats are. I can see Mike really well, so I send him a love note.
Yeah.
I said, Michael, I'm here.
And I always get a little hug and a peck on the cheek. I'm just going to tell you, there are benefits from knowing Louise.
Absolutely.
Well, that was awesome. Good stuff. All right. So I'm happy for you and happy for the peeps. And you'll get some calls here from people that want to find out more about it.
I hope so. Yeah. Let me know how I can help. And if I don't know, I can certainly find somebody.
Yeah. Reach out, Prometheus. Again, give her a call. Tebow's got the number. But, yeah, there's the number again, and I'll hit it one more time. Tebow, Prometheus, 320-0382. Just tell her.
Alrighty.
Yeah. He's
hope
great.
You feel better.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, Louise. Have a great rest of the day.
All right, everybody have a good one.
All right. Be good. There you go. Louise
Bye.
Baker, Logan Foster Realtors. There you go. How great was that? Giving away tickets. That's awesome. She'll take care of you. Congratulations, Tebow. And thanks, everybody, for chiming in. See, that's what it's all about. See, that's when this whole thing comes together. Professional door text line popping. We got the chat room popping. We got cross promotions going on. Louise, Little River Heating and Air. We had Professional Door, Mark Huntley. Everybody who endorses and supports this program, I couldn't do it without them, are people that I have either utilized or started to utilize after conversations with. I wouldn't stray you in the wrong direction. These are great people. Comes down to community, and they all care about their community. You're correct, Wayne. It takes a village to take care of Rick. Oh, Wayne, I don't know whether you're in here. Look, speaking of that, look, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Morris sent me a 1.5 pound coin, solid silver. Look at that. You know that guy. That's Bigfoot. Bigfoot's coming, going to get you, going to get you. Bigfoot's coming, so you better watch out. And it just says Bigfoot. How about that? That's great. I love that. I love that. Didn't know if you saw that or not. Good stuff. Nice Bigfoot and big coin. Yes, yes. It is. It is. Good stuff. Well, thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. So Terry sent me a kind of a not so nice text, and I brought up my point, and then he said, you know what? You're right. They wouldn't have. Thank you. See, that's all. See, and that's how that's supposed to work. I didn't take it personally. You disagreed. We're going to disagree. And look, we had a nice follow-up. I gave my point. You keeping your point. And look, that's how this is supposed to work. I hope you always stop by the show. I'm not going to sit there and cast out any judgment. Come on, man. It's not what we do here. And I like what the attorney Ryan Price said. And there is some truth that it's a money grab, but I think you're also maybe offsetting that a little bit because you're going to lose some of your traditional audience with this. That's why they're going to other alternate things. Now, I don't know whether they're not going to watch the game. They're trying to get a younger, progressive audience. But to your point, Ryan, NASCAR left its roots and it's never recovered. The NFL is definitely taking those fans for granted. There's no question. And I agree, it's gonna come back at some point, and it's going to hurt them. That's 100% correct. What's up, Jason Tickle? Good morning, brother. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel. Morris says, silver and gold, have I none, but such as I have, I give it to you, the village people. Morris is quoting Village People songs now. You don't get that on every program. Hey, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I dug Macho Man in YMCA. I dug in the Navy. Come here, buddy. Come here. The Creed has wandered in. Let's see if I can get him up here. Oh, my gosh. Look at that guy. There's the mascot. You've asked for him, and now you've got him. Oh, look at that. Look how vicious he is. Look at that. Look at that face. Okay. He did not like that at all. But that's okay. He got on camera. People have asked, and I wanted to supply. So there you go. Now he's down here playing with a... Oh, there he goes. He's playing with the ball up the stairs. All right. Dwight Vick's going to join us coming up to finish off the day. Congratulations, Tebow. Thanks again to Louise here on the program. And we get to actually have a Friday show tomorrow. It's been a couple of weeks due to, what was it? It was travel, illness. Couldn't do it. In the Navy, come on. Protect the motherland. In the Navy, come on and join your fellow man. Speaking of biscuits, Tebow says, Little River Grill has the best sausage. Yeah, Little River Grill's good. They need to be sponsors. They are good. Yeah, I don't mind giving free plugs to food. Yeah, Little River Grill's really solid. They are. Mary on the text line says, do you ever take Excedrin? Is Excedrin still a thing? No, I never have. I'm talking about my headache. Does Excedrin work? I thought maybe Excedrin went the way of like Doan's pills. Remember Doan's? Well, if you have a backache, take Doan's pills. What's up, Teddy? OG. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Subscribe, like, and share. Good to have you. I've made an executive decision, and I'm going to create an alternate. It's going to be on this channel, but we're going to have the pop culture and other stuff show. That's going to happen. I haven't quite got it organized, but it's going to happen. And I'll let you know as we get a couple months down the road here what it's going to look like. That will be at a different time. It won't be the live program. This is always going to be the mothership. But we're going to do something that's going to enhance and get you more involved and have listeners on, interactive, talking about whatever, have guests that will be able to talk about things. It's great. No, I'm actually supposed to talk. I had it surveyed, and then the weather came, TLB, about my roof. So Modern Day Roofing, and maybe one day we'll sponsor this program. I'm supposed to actually have a conversation with a gentleman who took some drone pics, but no, we haven't gotten that solved yet. No, because the weather came. We've had ice and then snow and now more snow. And so it's kind of been put on delay. I'll let you know. Yeah, it was funny what Tebow said. Pound of flour. I have to remember that one. I only had does Bigfoot wear big socks. That's okay, Morris. You're in the Palm Coast. It's warm. If only Panera made biscuits. Yeah, those would be delicious. They would use biscuits from Panera as like when they're putting up new buildings, like when Family Fencing's putting up a new fence, they could use the Panera biscuit as like placeholders for like decades. Thanks to Little River Heating and Air, Charles Lee. That's great to hear that story. Give them a call. I'm telling you. Wouldn't lie to you. 540-553-2971. Give James Lawson a call, 540-381-8011. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. The NRV Super Bowl is going to have Super Bowl bowling. You got to go, right? 382-5525. $100 for your group of 8. Lanes, 4 lanes. Food, beverages, the game. Come on, man. Mark Hunley, 155 Walters Drive. McClellan Chiropractic. And Marco, if you're watching, prayers answered. Your mom's home. Congratulations, brother. Great news. Great post yesterday. Very happy for you and your mom. Family Fencing, Jason Green. That damn Raider fan. 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. They are the best, too. I'm still thinking about getting them out here during the spring. Yep. We got stuff. We got stuff we need to do. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment is the presenting sponsor of this program. And Tim Miller is going to be on next week. And we are very excited to promote even more great stuff that they are doing. attorney Ryan Pry, the BDST fan question of the week. We've had a couple more votes today. We're at 40 to 35. Let me update it here. One each. No, 2 for the Patriots. So we're at 40 to 35, Seattle. We'll close this thing. I'll let it go through the day and we'll announce it. If you have any trust or estate planning questions, contact the attorney Ryan Pry. If you've got banking needs, go see Larry Ramsey and her crews at all the branches at National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of this program. I've been with them for 35 years. I can endorse them. When I go down and talk to Jamie and her crew down here in Radford, it's some of the best customer service I've ever had in my life. Professional Door Incorporated, speaking of great customer service and just great results. Mr. Williams, you guys are the best. 38 years in business. It's a family-owned business. Sponsor of our text line. Go see Travis and his great crew. And Bob Christ 11, Crist at Gmail, readysetfun.com. They help the Floyd County girls softball team, by the way, raise $4,000 in 5 days. That's incredible. Oh, look at that already. Look at that. Tebow and Louise have hooked up. Tickets are on the way. Cats and dogs living together. Love it. Absolutely love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. I love it. We've got to see, we talk about family on here. Like, you know, I know we hear from Chris Lester. He talks about fam. Yeah, it's a family thing, man. It is. It is. Great. That vibe is pretty strong today. Pretty strong today, despite my pounding of my headache. By the way, thanks to everybody again yesterday. We had our Rad 48 concludes here in a few hours today at noon, but it's our fundraiser for our athletics department. It's very important. We don't have funnels of NIL money coming in. So for our young people, it was great. And it was National Women in Sports Day. And I got to hang out with a lot of our teams in the weight room. They had a goal of surpassing 20,000 pounds in total weights. And we had 4 different rounds of stations. And the young people threw up 35,000 pounds. And we had to have 10 brand new donors in the span of the hour. And then one other donor was going to match that, give $1,000 if we reached it. So we got to that. And I know this year's been a record-setting year for Rad 48. And I appreciate, even if you who watch this program didn't support, if you're just tuning in, whatever, just thanks to everybody. We have special young people down at Radford. We recognized them last night at halftime of our game. And really good people. And, you know, things like last night and things like we did yesterday in the weight room with the live broadcast, I just kind of made it up as I went along. It was great. Got to interview kids. It reminds me of why I'm in this, why I'm in athletics, why athletics administration, what we have and what we can give people. Yeah, it reminds you of that. With all the other crap going on in college sports and all the activity, that it's a positive thing. And that's a great segue into this gentleman, because he always sees the positive out of things, because that's who he is. He is Dwight Vick, the quintessential source for all things Tech football. What's up, brother? Good morning. Can you hear me? Can he not hear me? Oh, we can't hear you. Yeah, let me send you one more invite. Let me send you another invite. Yeah, I think it's on this end. Hang on, brother. Hang on. Let me send you another invite. All right. Looks like we're going through that again. Although Louise has been out for a while, so I don't know. Let's try one more time with DV here. All right. So I just sent the invite, so we'll get him back on. Family like the Christmas dinner family with Clark and Ellen. No, I don't think we're that type of family. We're the kind of family that Chris Lester talks about. We're a real family. We wouldn't fight over food, would we? Yeah, we probably would. Tell you one thing, Wayne, you can have all the broccoli you want. Oh, I thought about you, by the way. That's right. It is Big Ron's birthday today. Ron Shelburne. I should have mentioned that yesterday. So I just sent Dwight a new invite here, so he'll get reconstructed. We got to eat some of the pregame meal yesterday before the game. They had chicken. They had like chicken Alfredo, and they had this big trough of broccoli, and not one person opened the broccoli the whole time. It was great. How about now? You got me now, DV?
Yeah, I heard you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. Yeah. What's up, brother? Oh, and then I lost you. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm good, man. Good morning. I don't know what's how about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah, that's good. That'll be fine. That'll work. That works. How are you? You had a busy week. I've seen you everywhere on social media this week.
Yeah. Reading to some elementary school kids, and also speaking to some high schoolers up in Herndon, Reston, Oakland area. So just doing my part, out here in these streets in a good way, helping people, empowering. This is what I do, I'm community activist and therapist, and and then I was up late watching my son's basketball game. They took a really, really bad loss on the road to Lenore Ryan. That was a tough loss. Nobody on the team played well, but I told my son, that's basketball, man. You go on the road in conference play, man, to a team that had lost 2 straight.
Absolutely.
You got to get out there and hoop, man. And it is what it is, man. They got maybe a handful of games left. They're trying to make the top 8 to get into the SAC tournament. It's crazy, man. Basketball season, it starts in November, late October, and goes all the way until late February, March. It feels like it's so longer than football.
Talk about how rewarding is that for you, man, to sit there and be able to read to kids? You got to absolutely love that, don't you?
Yeah, man. And the crazy thing about it is that I had not done that since I was a Hokie, since I played at Virginia Tech, reading to kids, elementary school kids. It was kind of, forgot the name of the book, but it was about a hamster that was basically, giving you their perspective on life. And I'm reading it. It was about 8 pages. Really good book, man. But I like the fact that the kids really that age really appreciates you coming in. They really appreciate you coming in and talking with them and spending time with them. So it was cool. It was, you feel good after you do something like that. You feel like you contributed to like their well-being.
I saw a story where a barber in a community, when he gets tips, he keeps $1 bills, and he has books there for when he has young kids that he's given haircuts. If they can read a certain part of the book, he'll give them $2 or $3. Like, he'll give them money for reading, and he sits there cutting their hair because he wants to help them read, because he's not sure about the education that they're getting. And I thought about you. I said, this is exactly, if Dwight Vick was a barber, this is the kind of thing you would create. I thought it was a great idea, and you can see how happy the barber was. And you may have seen that too. I thought it was great. It's a great program.
No, I haven't seen it, but I think that's phenomenal. I've often thought about what I would do if I wasn't doing Victory Life, or if I wasn't who I was. The essence of who I am is still going to be there. But I think the biggest thing I would do if circumstances were different financially, like if I was like really wealthy, I would go around just like paying for people's groceries, helping them get a house. I know you have people that donate to Virginia Tech and Auburn and UVA and all, and that's cool. But I would probably donate to society. Like I probably would like just take care of somebody or just surprise people. Just walk up on them and just buy their lunch or something, or help them recover from a house fire. I've always been a person that's been empathetic and given my time and even some money, the money I do have, I've always been one to give back. It's just who I am. It's weird too, because in ball, like I'm college and pro and all of that. When I was done playing sports, I had to find something to channel that competitive energy. And that's probably the hardest part for guys when they're done playing, is you got to find, and women, you got to find something to do with that competitive energy. And I remember my wife called me out on that. She was like, you have to find, this was years ago, long time ago, you have to find somewhere to channel that energy. Because for so much of my life, it was preparing for a game, preparing for a season, competing in the weight room, competing in everything I did, even academics. And then you stop. It's like, you know, you have something for so much of your life and then it stops. That's a hard place to be. So what I do is I compete in life. I try to be the best father, the best therapist, the best mentor, the best podcaster when I podcast. And I don't mean that in a way where I'm trying to be better than the Sons of Saturday or Boundary Corner.
Sure.
I mean, more so compete to make sure I give people quality, excellence. You know, it's just like my makeup. Like, that's just who I am.
Did you have any time? Did you watch any of the pressers yesterday with the coaches? Did you get the chance to talk to any, take that in to hear what they had to say?
Nah, man. Nah, I've been I was busy. I saw a few clips. Speaking of Sons of Saturday, I saw where Franklin asked them about their name, and then I saw different coaches pop up. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was telling some of the guys in the group chat yesterday in the Boundary Corner podcast. I'm in that group chat with those of my guys, and I was telling them, I said, I want to hear from the coaches, but I want people to ask them some tough questions. I feel like if I'm being very real, like I am when I come on for my segment, I feel like going back to the last few years of Beamer's, Tom, Fuente era, and even Pry, I feel like we got to start asking more tough questions in the media. You know, like we get on your show, not me, because I would ask. I used to do media in the aspect of post-game shows and all of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I would. I mean, you know, like I ask them questions like, not just have you considered playing Pop Watson? No, more ask, hey, Coach Pryor, why didn't you bring another quarterback to challenge Drones to make sure that he earned that position? I would ask questions like, your offensive line is performing at this level. Have you thought about shaking up? Ask some tougher questions. I feel like college football media in some markets, because they need access and they have to play this game, they wait until the season goes awry or they start to fall off. Then all of a sudden, like for example, it was well reported after Pryor was fired that Virginia Tech football practices started notoriously late. Like they were saying that practices would start late. I'm like, why was that reported when Pryor was here? Why didn't you ask him? If I'm waiting for him to show up at practice and for weeks at a time they're late, I'm going to say something to him. Maybe it's because, and this is not a shot at anybody like David Till or anybody, because I love those guys, Andy and those guys, but I played. So for me, when I started to hear all the stuff that came out after he was fired, I'm like, well, no wonder they don't finish in the fourth quarter. Sure. They're not disciplined. No wonder they're tired. They're not conditioning. They weren't in shape. No wonder they're blowing coverages. They're not working hard. But again, I know people say, what have to do with watching the presser? I would bring those things up. Because to me, what Franklin and his staff are doing right now is smart. they're controlling the narrative by what they allow us access to. But I can tell everybody right now, you're not going to learn a lot about this team, even if you did have access like we wanted, until after the spring game, until August, until September, when we see this team come together. Franklin's been in this business a long time. He is not going to allow any leaks. He's going to run a much tighter ship, probably the tightest ship you've seen since the early Beamer era. Because you're not going to get access. He's been around, and he doesn't. That's why, again, so much stuff came out after he was fired at Penn State. So we won't get the access we want. But for me, access or no access, I just need to see if they're going to be a competent football team this fall.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. And I'm more curious now. It's so difficult nowadays we don't know how guys are going to come here, right? It's so different with, the portal guys making different levels of money. What's their incentive? Do they care about being here? We'll know, right, with how this team comes together. It's a different job, isn't it, Dwight, with how coaches have to handle all that today?
Yeah, that's why you see a lot of coaches that have been around the game a long time in football and basketball stepping away, because it's not amateurism anymore. It's definitely semi-pro football and basketball. I talked to a handful of college coaches myself. I know some, and you got kids asking for cars. I have an agent. I have a friend of mine who's an agent. He's an agent. He's got a couple of kids on the Virginia Tech roster. And he was texting me a few days ago asking me about, did I have any phone numbers of any car dealerships in the Southwest Virginia area? And I was like, nah, I haven't lived up there since the late 90s. And he was like, yeah, my players, he was like, I got a couple of players trying to get some deals with some cars and not sponsorships. He was talking about negotiating, getting stuff for the whole NIL thing. And I just put the laughing emoji on the response. And he said, yeah, it's a different time now. These kids, they want it all. And I get it, because the coaches got it all for decades. And I'm okay with that if this is my caveat. This is what I really feel like should be contingent upon it. Whether you're a coach or a player, I'm never going to compromise my mindset when it comes to earning your keep. If you're going to make $300,000, if you're going to make 80, if you're going to make 120, 250, earn it. Like, earn it in the classroom, earn it in the weight room, earn it on the field. I'm not just speaking about, I'm only going to speak about Virginia Tech. I'm not going to speak about Maryland, UVA, Clemson, Wake Forest, and other schools. But when I watch Tech play, and I look at just last year alone, even when Pry was the head guy, to get boat raced at home by Vanderbilt and ODU, to have so many guys make so much money because that's the way, is embarrassing. Because I played essentially for free. And I had one false start in 4 years. I maybe had 2 holding calls in 4 years as a player. These guys get holding, false start, and they're making a lot of money. I'm like, where's your discipline? And again, this is not the old man, oh, it was so much harder in my day. I'm not going to say these athletes playing today are ridiculously talented. What I'm saying is it's hard for a college football coach to manage that, because these kids deserve and have earned the right to get money, but they have to learn not about managing money, but how to embrace expectations while being held accountable. That's why you always hear me talk about accountability, because I'm okay with a kid making a lot of money. I don't care that they make more than me. I just want them, when I sit down for 3.5, 4 hours on my Saturday, to watch a team that can get a yard on 3rd and 1. That the coaches stop calling. I wish the coaches who make a lot of money too would stop calling timeouts to come back on the field in the same formation and get stopped for a 2-yard loss. I'm tired of seeing us chase points when we should kick the field goal. Faking field goals at Miami when you should have just taken the yards and kept drones on the field. I can give you 100 examples, Rick, of incompetent football at Virginia Tech while the coaches and players made a lot of money. So as my dad always used to say, what are y'all doing in practice? The games aren't being lost on Saturday and Thursday night or Friday nights. The games are being lost right now in the off season, the preseason, and during the week.
Well, and to your point, how much does that concern you about Pry being the defensive coordinator? Because he didn't do any of that stuff right. He failed miserably as a head coach. And you mentioned the late practices, and all that stuff did come out. Does that affect how you view him getting this big promotion? He was the first major hire for James Franklin. Or do you think because he's in a different role that he won't have to, since he doesn't have to worry about it, it won't come up and kind of rear its head again? Or is that something that you're kind of like, well, if he was like that before, what's he going to let slide now, even though he's just a coordinator?
We give the quarterback too much credit and too much blame. We give the head coach too much credit and too much blame. Pry's staff, there were people on the staff that were in over their head as well. I don't have concerns about Pry being a defensive coordinator because him and Franklin have a great relationship, and I think Franklin is going to hold him accountable. But also I believe in second chances. I believe that Pry learned something in his first tenure as a head coach. It's kind of like one of my favorite shows of all time, The Sopranos, when Tony had gotten shot by his uncle, and all his guys had to kind of take turns running the mob. And one of the guys were having panic attacks, and Paulie was struggling. They couldn't handle being in that hot seat. They couldn't handle being the head guy. And I think Pry learned how hard it is to be the head guy. I think he's going to relish the opportunity to be a defensive coordinator. I think he'll do fine with that. There were a lot of people really clamoring for him to be the defensive guy while Marv was, learning his way. But I don't really know the intricacies of how that worked. But I do know that I think he'll be in a good situation as a DC. I just think Virginia Tech, when I look at the games they lost over the last 3 or 4 years, it came down to learning how to win, finishing football games, putting the right personnel groupings on the field. Even our DBs, we were always known as DBU, along with LSU, Ohio State, and other schools that produce great DBs. Our defensive backs the last 3 or 4 years were not ball hawks. They did not attack the ball at the highest point. They often seemed lost in coverage. You got to think about the legacy over the last 30 years of defensive backs we had. Was that Coach DJ's issue? Was that Coach Cheetah not getting those guys in position? Could be. Could it be the wrong defensive backs were on the field? These are questions that I would ask if I was at a presser, going back to that conversation about access. But that comes from really understanding the game and also not being afraid to have a bad response by a coach. Like, if a coach got mad at me because I asked an honest, tough question, then you're soft yourself. You can't handle it. And if you got 100%. A problem with me, we can meet in the auxiliary gym, put the mics down, and we can have a man-to-man conversation if you want to get that mad. I mean, 100%. What you want to do, my guy? What you want to do? And I don't mean to talk like I'm some tough guy. I'm just saying, like, when you think about 3.5, 4 hours of a Saturday that a fan drives and watches them play, so that's the travel, and you add more time for that. Or you look at the fact that someone like myself who works every weekend carves out time to watch the team play, to put on the Virginia Tech gear, to say, hey, this is my favorite team. I want to watch them play. And to see them get destroyed by ODU at home is lack of effort and preparation and understanding your assignment. ODU beat the brakes off Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech looked like they didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
So to me, I know everyone, I keep saying, I keep reading the vibes at Virginia Tech are so great. The vibes are good. The vibes were great when Fuente got there. The vibes were great when Franklin got there. Pry, not Franklin. Pry, he was out there throwing snowballs with the core cadets, and he was going downtown and eating pizzas and subs and taking pictures, and then, when Fuente got here, he was in here changing stuff. He changed the recruiting mail and put a different logo on there. He was doing interviews with Sons of Saturday because him and Billy Ray are, they're friends, and there was all this great energy, right? At the end of the day, after the shine wore off, they got boat race. We have been an underachieving, underwhelming, overwhelmed football program the last several years. I don't care about vibes. I don't care about microphones. I don't care about new uniforms. I want wins. I want new memories. And I'm speaking for a lot of former players who sit here and watch a program we helped build become the bottom dweller of an ACC conference that's wide open. So to me, whether the players are making six figures or $50,000, whether they're being this or they got this sponsorship, that's cool. Good. Make your money, get a Hellcat, get a truck, get a $90,000 car like some of these guys have. Good. Get your money. I want you to do that. I'm not jealous. I'm doing very, very well. But what I want them to do is on Saturday, when you're playing Miami or you're playing Clemson or you're playing UVA or Boston College, to play with passion and purpose and stop looking like you never played football before. I want the O-line to stop getting called for holding after a big play. I want these guys to be able to catch a pass that when you're wide open, the average receiver catches. I want defensive backs to attack the ball, to be ball hawks again. I want us to tackle instead of, everybody jumping on a running back as he picks up 9 more yards after contact. These are the things I saw the last 5 years, Rick. And then what did we hear after a game? Hey, guys, we just got to play hard. We didn't execute. Oh, man. That's why I say I don't want to hear from these coaches. They're going to give me coach speaking live. Be honest. Dabo Swinney rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but then there's a contingency of people who like him and respect him. Either way, he's going to coach his team and be brutally honest.
Honest.
That's why I'd rather have him than not have him as a coach. But I want honesty, and I want a team to give effort. I want people to understand that this is not hate or anger coming out of my mouth this morning. This is years of frustration. I'm still mad about the UVA game. I really feel like, no, not that UVA won. They were the better team.
Know.
It was like they just went out there and said, okay, we're going to make sure
no effort.
Today season. No effort.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So that's where I'm at. Like, I'm glad everybody on Twitter /X is feeling like the vibes are great. I'm glad that we're getting these great recruits and we got a highly ranked portal. That's good. Hopefully these guys in the portal and all this talent coming to Blacksburg can perform. Because Wake Forest, they didn't have great vibes. They just got a good team that won 9 games this year.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
All this money, and we got to get this guy. You know what's funny? Wake Forest is starting safety. Oh, yeah. He came from Virginia Tech. He's Lauren Johnson's oldest son, Braylon Edwards, who didn't see the field at Virginia Tech, but goes and has a win at Virginia Tech, a win at UVA, and goes to a bowl game and didn't touch the field. Is that evaluating talent? Is that bias? Is that loyalty to the wrong player? Because why did he get on the field here? I don't want to hear about who was in front of him. I'm saying Foster, when he was the defensive coordinator, had a very masterful way of making sure the starters played, but he would bring in a young guy to get reps during the game. So if the other guy went down, they were ready. We have no rhyme or reason with what we were doing. So don't tell me about we need this. SMU's got great NIL, but when I watch SMU play football, I don't think about the money and the oil money they have. I'm looking at a team that was going toe-to-toe with Miami and was able to make plays. They had a quarterback who knew what he was doing. That's not about NIL. That's coaching. That's players knowing they're going to be held accountable. That's not loyalty to a guy just because I know his mom. That's making sure the right players on the field. So that's what I want to see. I'm sorry to be so loud and passionate this morning.
No, it's about substance. Style is too many coaches worry about style and how it looks. And everybody gets so excited about, oh, look what he's ranked, this kid coming in. Wake Forest is a great example. You ever hear anything about any of their players? They made a low-key hire with a Washington State coach last year, and people are like, whoa, whatever. And then what happens, right? They have this amazing – they've done it now 3 straight coaches. They just – with their resources, they seem to get it right every time. I think Wake is a great example of how to do this thing in this era. You're not hearing anything about anybody they've signed in the portal, who they lost out of the portal, but watch what their record is come November next year, right?
Well, and that's what I used to say in the Twitter spaces is that when I used to get on, I still do. I love getting into the Twitter spaces after a game, win or loss, and mingling with the fans and sharing my insight. And I kept hearing, we got to get this, we got to get this, we got to get more money, we got to pay more people. And I'm looking at like how at Georgia Tech we get personal fouls or late hits out of bounds and we're getting holding calls. I'm like, that's not money. That's coaching and player performance. Because Georgia Tech had a great season. Probably should have played for the ACC championship. Duke, a team that is still known more for their academics than like all these guys in the NFL. And they won the ACC. Yes, 8 games, 8-5. But right now, we would kill for 8 wins. You know, like if Virginia Tech last season went 7-5 and beat whoever in the ACC championship and went to a bowl with 8 wins, a statue wouldn't be built, but at the same time, we would be very happy. This is a very prideful, passionate fan base. So to be enmeshed in irrelevancy is beyond embarrassing. It's disappointing. So don't tell me as someone that knows this game very well, that knows how to build a program, because I was part of it, that see other programs doing it, that we have to have all this money and all this talent. Both those things are true. But I think if you just take off your biased glasses issued by Bias University and stop being biased every day, you would look at the team you watch on Saturdays and other days they play. And Virginia Tech always starts off really well. And then as the game goes, they go like this. And that's because they weren't in shape. They weren't prepared. They weren't playing with passion. They weren't playing. You saw it one game, NC State.
Yeah.
NC State last year, they went down there, and I told you on your show, I said, yeah, Virginia Tech will probably win this game. I picked them to win.
Yeah,
you know, because they, you know what? They played, and you asked me the following week, man, if we get that out of Monty and the team, I said, yeah, they're not done yet. They can make a run. And they did play hard for Monty, but as the season went on, Monty wanted to be interviewed for that job. He wanted the head coaching job, which I get. He's been a head coach for several years prior. The team began to kind of feel sorry for itself. They began to kind of give in, and it was disappointing because it's not like every player on that team quit. It wasn't about that. It was more so about I know how hard it is when you have nothing to play for and you don't know who your leader is going to be. And that began to wear on that football team. But I don't want anybody to tell me that Virginia Tech didn't have enough talent to win more games last year. They did. When you look at other teams in the ACC, the Big Ten, I mean, they had enough talent to win 7 games. But anyway, I'm hoping Franklin sees not so much what I see, but sees the potential in this program, and most importantly, holds them accountable. I'm hoping that when we get more access, that they're honest. But before they get access with us, that they're honest with themselves as men, as coaches and players. I hope the right players see the field and not the ones that make the most money. Because you can have it that way. I mean, one thing I give Miami credit, I troll Miami, I pick for Miami. One thing Miami did this year, they did this year better than previous years, is they really, really played with a sense of purpose and passion. They really played hard this year. Often Miami has been front runners, but they were able to overcome adversity. So it's doable. It's very doable. I mean, in coaching changes, JMU has gone through 3 different coaches and still been successful. As you mentioned, Wake Forest went through a coach. Duke, other programs have gone through that and been able to sustain some success. So We need our place at the table, man. If I'm a Virginia Tech football player right now, I'm taking it personal. Like, I want my money, I want my direct deposit, I want my stipend, but I want to win. I think that's the difference between when people say, what do you think the biggest difference is between my era and this era now? I don't really think it's much difference. I think young men are young men. I think the biggest thing I've seen is some guys, not all, being okay with losing. I hate losing.
I hear that from a lot of college basketball coaches. It's so frustrating for them. Guys can just brush it off their back. Like, Radford lost at the buzzer last night, right? And you hope those guys are feeling it today and they're like angry in practice. But the coaches tell me, you know what? They come in the next day, they act like nothing happens, like they won the game. They're just thinking about whatever's ahead that night, what they got going on with their girlfriend or whatever, or social media. And they say that's the biggest change because just what you said, losing doesn't hurt nearly as much.
No, there's a picture. No, it's a picture of me when we lost. We were 14th in the nation, and we lost to Temple at home. They had lost 35 straight games. We were up almost 20 points. They hadn't scored, and we were 14th in the nation my senior year. So it's my last time being a Hokie on the field. And they came back and won. It was considered to this day one of the worst losses in college football history as far as upsets go. And there's a picture of me on the Collegiate Times. I have to save. I don't have it in my office here. And it's me and Lamont Pegues, the Clemson running back transfer, on the bench. I'm in shock. And it was homecoming. I sat on that bench so long, John Boleyn had to call me in because Beamer was doing his post-game address to the team. And I remember, I'm teary-eyed. I got tears. This is a conference game. And that night was homecoming, and, homecoming is parties and things like that. I didn't go out. I was sick. I was sick. I was sick. I think, the coaches I talk to are the same guys you talk to, and I see the same thing. Yeah. Guys lose, they go make TikToks, they go to the Cheesecake Factory, go get shots, drinks, or whatever, go downtown, they go bowling. I don't think you should stop your life, but I think what happens is if you are, I'm going to be careful when I say this, if you are getting paid a lot of money, you have everything you want at 19, 20, 21 years of age. You got a nice apartment, you got a girl, or you got different shorties, girls you're talking to. Your parents are taken care of. What is driving you? Why would you be upset? You're doing pretty good in life. That's right. Why would I be upset? I still got my sponsorships. I got my agent. I got my money. We're not going to a bowl game, or we're going to miss the tournament, but I'm paid. I'm good. I got the bag.
Yep.
I mean, really.
That's it.
I'm from Hampton, Virginia, grew up in Newport News as well. Being at Tech, I've already beat the odds, but I'm trying to make history. I'm trying to, and this is why I said, if you think about this, I know we up against it. I'm sorry I ran off.
No, we're fine. We're fine. No, you're good, brother. We're fine.
If you think about it, I said this to you before. I said this all the time. I played years ago. And when I come to Southwest Virginia, or even here when I'm in Northern Virginia, and people stop me and they see my bowl rings, they recognize me on my face. Some of it is from what I do with social media, podcasting, coming on your show. But they remember my teams that went 11-1, 10-2, 9-3. Because we created legacy. We won. We were relevant. So we made history. We are not going to remember the last several years of Virginia Tech football. We might remember a player. Yeah, we remember Devon Diablo. We remember certain guys, Brandon Faison. We remember certain guys. We don't remember these teams. We won't remember these teams.
Hey, real quick, I know you don't really follow the NFL anymore, but I know you'll be watching. Who thinks going to win? Seattle, New England on Sunday.
Man, this is the weirdest Super Bowl matchup since I don't know. This is weird. I'm just going to be hanging out. I mean, I I follow NFL, but I'm not passionately following it. Like I said, I do a parlay here. I do fantasy football. I'm gonna go with New England. It's probably going to annoy a lot of people because they won so much. But I probably just would go with New England. But I mean, Seattle's good. Seattle is an example of just a team coming together and playing good football. But New England's a great story. These are both two great stories. You could go with the revenge factor, how Seattle gave that one away against Brady and company, but I'm not sure the guys playing now that's even relevant. The fans remember, but the players, that's not going to be a motivating factor. I'll probably go with New England. I think the kid May is a really good quarterback. I thought he was great at UNC.
He was.
It'll be interesting. I don't. This is going to be a interesting Super Bowl. Hopefully, it lives up to some Super Bowl hype because I don't know what every Super Bowl there's a storyline. Can Mahomes get another one? Can he catch Brady, or can the Eagles get revenge against Mahomes, or can Brady do this, or Atlanta with Matt Ryan? Like, you look at Super Bowls. Even going back to the days of the Redskins and the Cowboys, there's always a storyline. I don't know what the storyline is with this matchup. What's the narrative you want to see? A weird. Is there any conflict? Is there any? Oh, this kid was with this team. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. Yeah, because I almost forgot. Like, think about how normally Super Bowl week be like, oh yeah, Super Bowl. I forgot it was this weekend.
I know. There's not much. Yeah, I know. That's why I worry about the game kind of being secondary nowadays. You don't hear. There's not much being talked about it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. All right. Well, great stuff, brother, as always, man. Appreciate you. It's good stuff, man. Peeps really like it, and what you say is just true. That's why you're the quintessential source, my friend. No doubt about it. So, but
appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody be safe out here.
Yeah, man, you too. And have a great weekend. We'll talk again next week, brother.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, man. There you go. Dwight Vick. Good stuff. All right, good stuff today. I know we're a little bit over. Hey, all I got to do is fight through a headache and shovel anyway. All right. Thanks, everybody. Great chat. Please subscribe, like, share the channel. Got some good stuff coming up here on the channel here we're going to talk about here soon. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Louise. Thanks to David Smith. Andy Bitter, and Dwight Vick. Thanks to you, and we will see you tomorrow, everybody, on the Finally Friday edition. Take